All right. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Geekery Abides. We are here for episode number 37. That's all shown right on the screen. Excellent. The recording is going. So we're a little bit behind. We ran a tiny bit over on the last episode. We also had to get our next time on prepped up too.
Yeah, so that's my bad for not giving you that sooner.
It's all good. So yeah, let's go ahead and I didn't change my pedal either, but let me just go over here. Oh, I got to change my pedal because I don't have the intro on my board anymore because I have the pedal. Let me change that real quick over to here and then go like this and hit the intro and get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
All right, hello and welcome to Geekery Abides. Hold on, on your side, is everything looking okay? On my side, it shows like we're twirling and we're frozen.
Yeah, it shows good. It shows good.
Okay, so mine's just frozen.
I just see your hand twirling gesture.
Okay, let me just refresh my thing because it's gonna freaking drive me nuts if it shows like we're frozen on my screen.
This is unreal. I noticed this during the intro, and if you're watching live here on YouTube or if you're watching on YouTube, you saw my reaction. I'm wearing a Batman shirt and Tad's wearing a Superman shirt. We did not plan this.
No, not at all.
I brought this shirt because I wear a different shirt for our other podcast. And then in between episodes, I change shirts, and you go into your room and you change shirts and everything. And my wife says, "Guess you chose the right shirt."
And then Mike says, "I picture your clothes changes looking like backstage of a Broadway production." Which,
a little bit, yeah.
Not far off. Yeah. Especially like this episode where we went a little bit long on the last episode,
we had to hurry.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah,
you wearing Superman, me wearing Batman, just randomly. Like, how did that coincided?
Mine might be for a reason, but let's see. Let me. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This is Geekery Abides. Welcome. This is our geek podcast covering all things geeky outside of the Stephen King universe. Although it was funny, I can't remember if it was this episode or last episode. I was doing prep, and I had done this entire fucking it wasn't a lot. We don't do like long form news on this show, but I did a news thing with like quotes and stuff, and I realized like, wait a minute, this is a Stephen King. It was for Life of Chuck.
Oh,
and I was like, I can't cover this. So
I got to put that on Dark Tower Palaver.
So I deleted it, but it took me a long minute because I was just so detached from Stephen King for some reason. Where I was just like Flanagan and may have had Mark Hamill involved, and I was just But yes, and my name is Tad, and with me as always is Peter.
I'm Batman.
Wearing his Joker shirt.
That's a Batman shirt.
I don't know. I see from my point of view, it's a Joker shirt.
Batman.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are lost.
And the great thing is long before prequel memeing was a thing, Peter and I
we invented it. I swear to God, we did.
We've been quoting, especially episode 3, but episode 1 and 2 we have a healthy number of quotes too. But episode 3 we've been quoting to each other like literally to the obnoxious level that prequel memers do on prequel memes like subreddit. Yeah. We've been doing that in our friendship since 2005.
Yeah, so. Tad would just walk up to me at the store we worked at and be like, "Hello there."
Yeah, and if you didn't say General Kenobi,
Grievous, Ted would be like, "Who are you?"
No, General Kenobi.
General Kenobi, you're right. Sorry.
In Grievous's voice. If you didn't do that, I would throat punch you because I would know you were body snatched.
He's like, "Who are you? What have you done with my friend?"
Yes, exactly. So, yes, that is. Let's go ahead and dive on in though. This is episode 37. We'll be talking about top 10 trilogies, movie trilogies. I'm excited for this. Although I will say, God damn you, Tad, because this is a hard one to do. And I don't mean to be speaking in the third person, but last time I cursed you for top 10 horror movies. So I feel like it's only equal to curse myself because this one,
it's only fair.
There were some hard cuts that hurt me.
Yeah.
Hurt me deeply. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the emails. If you want to email the show, you can email either peter@geekeryabides.com or tad@geekeryabides.com. You do keep your eye on your email, right? Just in case, because people can email either of us. I usually check mine. I did check mine late this time. We actually have someone giving us one of their top 10 trilogies, so we'll have that alongside of ours. I'm going to take that as a no, Tad. I do not check my emails.
I removed the wrong email from my phone. I created it before, because remember when we were getting ready to start Geekery Abides, we were trying to figure out the emails, right? So I went and created an email.
Oh, Gmail. Like
a Gmail one that I was going to use. When I left for my sabbatical, I removed the wrong one. I don't have Geekery Abides on my phone. I haven't checked it, Tad. There may be lost emails in there.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Shame.
Thank you.
Shame.
You beat me to her. Oh, indeed, shame.
I apologize to anyone who's emailed me. If anyone has, I feel really bad right now. I thought, because you have like the different accounts when you go to Gmail, you can see like your different accounts. I thought this one was that one. So I'm like, I just looked, nope, no emails. Okay, I'm good. But I never actually looked at the email address.
So maybe someone that may have emailed us the top 10 horror movies last week.
Yes, or emailed us about anything. Oh, no.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
We got to get that back.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
All right. So we're now going to watching, reading, playing. So what have you been watching, reading, playing, sir?
Holy shit, I've watched a lot of stuff. I'm like
Me
you
too.
this time. I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Guardians 3, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, The Marvels, The King's Man, WandaVision. I've watched the entire third season of Shoresy. I'm caught up on Acolyte as well.
Jesus Christ.
Like I said, I watched a shit ton this past.
So for me, I've
weeks.
got Star Wars Acolyte. I've got Mayor of Kingstown Season 3, House of the Dragon Season 2. I have restarted, or not restarted, but I've dove back into Battlestar Galactica and The Boys, as well as I needed me a half-hour comedy. So I've only had small exposures to the show over time, but I decided to jump in and binge That 70s Show. So I am a chunk of the way through that.
I had my hopes up.
What?
It's so disappointing.
What?
I really thought you were going to say Letterkenny.
Oh, no. I've told you what my feelings are about that.
There's so many people that would have told you that you would enjoy Letterkenny, and you still won't try it. Why? Because they're Canadian?
I don't. And it's funny. I saw a couple episodes of That 70s Show, but I've always kind of liked what I saw, but I just missed out on it. It was back in like the late. I think it was. You know what shocked me though is I didn't realize that show started in like '99. I thought it was a little earlier in the 90s. Like not. I didn't think it was like '94, but I thought it was like '97, '98. But like '99, I was like, good God.
Yeah, it's right around when we went into high school.
So it was like 8 seasons. So that means it went a healthy chunk into the 2000s, which that's wild. I don't know. Yeah. So I just started that. It's fun. It does have a little bit of a dark cloud over it. With,
unfortunately.
Yeah, with the one actor that turned out to be a
shithead.
fucking shitty piece of shit rapist.
Yeah.
And then what
It's why
about?
it's why I can't go back and watch The Ranch, because he was in the first like 3 seasons of that, and he's such a main character. It's just like.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And then reading, I read and finished Ride the Devil's Herd, the book on Wyatt Earp and his history. That's really fun. I do think that would make it a killer television show.
Yeah.
Just go through the whole life of Wyatt Earp.
There you go.
Because everyone knows kind of very small portions of his life.
And they know the scrubbed down version, the good guy Wyatt Earp. They
yes,
don't know the shady motherfucker who went to prison Wyatt Earp that you told me about.
And I also found that after Tombstone, he ended up in jail a few times.
Good God.
There's not...
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
Yeah, pretty much. And he wasn't the only one. There's a lot of gray area. But I also did start The Stand. It is late June, so of course I have started The Stand, my annual reread. And then I've been playing MLB The Show, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I decided to...
Oh, you're giving that one a try.
I bought that one. I started into it a little bit and didn't really jive with it, but I decided to dive back in, and I
heard horrible things about it.
Catching the vibe of it. I'm enjoying it. It's not exactly Wildlands, but
Wildlands is such a good game.
You know what's crazy too is on single player, you can like turn on and off your NPC teammates. And I went through and I was doing like multiple things alone before I realized I can go into like the menu and turn on my people.
Oh God!
So I was just doing it alone, and I was like, once I turned them on, I'm like, why wouldn't they tell? I mean, maybe they did tell me back before I hung it up a few months back.
Yeah.
And I just forgot. But either way, that. And then I've also been playing Command & Conquer Red Alert 2.
Classic.
Greatest Command & Conquer ever. Although I think they've changed it on me. Because it's on Steam now.
Yeah.
It's never been on Steam for a long time. Dude, because I was like, I need to get my legs under me, so I set it up as easy. And dude, within I didn't even have my base fully going. I already had their enemy attacking.
Oh yeah, no, it's always been that way.
No, the old game,
game.
if you have it on easy, they will never attack you.
Oh yeah.
No,
I've been playing Command & Conquer since high school with you.
And I've been playing it since 2000. If you have it on,
I'm telling you,
if you have it on easy, because
I have the game on the original game on the Epic Store or whatever. I don't even have it on
the EA.
Yeah, the EA one.
But I had it back on disc because that was always the big difference. Because in medium, they're not fighting hard, but that's when they would you'd have to count on every couple minutes there'd be a small batch of people coming at whatever. Dude, back in the day, is there very easy to? I have it on the lowest setting, so I'm like, let me just get and I'm also testing new maps I was never really keen on, and they're just attacking more than they ever did in the old days.
Oh yeah, I remember them always okay, I gotta get this, I gotta get the airport built so I can get my laser tower.
Soviet, sir. Soviet, 100%.
Soviet Russia, you lose.
That's
all about the British in Red Alert too. Gotta get that sniper, just mow down the infantry.
give me the cloning vats, and then I just build conscripts until the game starts lagging, and I just fucking go in.
I've watched you send army, and there was. There was one time he was playing with super weapons on, and the Soviets get nuclear missiles, and there's this group of just 10 soldiers or so that. They refused to move.
Oh, it wasn't no. What it was
too many were selected.
No, it wasn't even that. There was one time I selected everyone moved because I always test that to make sure I have enough because you can't over-select.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that I'll put them on a number, go invade the base. One time I had 3 people. They're moving into the base. 3 people. They retreated.
Yeah.
So I brought them back.
Built a wall around them.
Built a wall around them.
And then fucking nuked them
because cowards will not be had in my army. So yes, Mike says watching random crap, reading the Punic Wars by Adrian Goldsworthy. That sounds awesome. Not playing anything.
And then my wife says watching iZombie, The Good Place, Shorzy, reading Poor Unfortunate Souls, that Disney book I told you about, and then playing Disney Dreamlight Valley on her Switch. And I am reading Swan Song. I'm still reading that, but unfortunately it is going very, very slowly because work has been crazy. They ramped up my responsibilities, so I have been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and audiobooks and podcasts are a little bit tougher to do when you're
it's easier to do music when you're doing that.
And then I am playing Madden, GTA 5, Infection Free Zone, but those all will be gone for the next foreseeable future because 7 Days to Die dropped their new update, and I am back into building zombie bases now, and I'm fucking up zombies left and right. That's all I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. I'm sorry, other games, but 7 Days to Die is my game.
Yeah. And then let's see. First, Lydia says I need to give it a shot. I think about your Canadian show.
You need
trying
to
push
watch
on me.
Letterkenny.
Mike says, Lydia, I just finished The Good Place last month. It was so good. I agree. I was actually just thinking about that yesterday for some reason.
It's a good show.
Probably because The Acolyte has the dude from A Good Place in it.
Is that where he's from?
The Florida
guy?
Oh
my God, is he the Jacksonville guy? Is that really him?
That's the...
No way!
You didn't recognize him?
No, I didn't recognize him.
Immediately, I was freaking Vince or Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, that's the what was the dumbass quarterback? Bortles. Blake Bortles. I was like, it's Bortles, dude.
It's Bortles, dude.
From The Good Place.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then Lydia says, I love The Good Place. This is my third. Did she say she was watching? Okay, I missed that. She said that. Yeah, I love that show. Yeah. And Mike says, "Wow, I hated Jason at first. That's his name in the show. He ended up being my favorite." Yeah. He's
my wife says same. I just laugh and shake my head at him.
Also, another acolyte. Wondering if you caught the Jedi that in the first episode I think kills himself.
Second episode.
It's not really a spoiler. Do you realize that's the Baratheon? The second king, the one that jumps out the window in Game of Thrones.
The younger one?
What's his name?
No.
Joffrey stuck in my head.
Not Joffrey.
Tommen.
Tommen?
Tommen.
No,
I mean,
no, I didn't realize that was him.
losing Marjorie, I'd jump out of a window too. But the actor-wise, he's playing him, and it's easier to tell when he's the younger when you're in the flashbacks in Acolyte.
Yeah.
I saw him like, that's fucking Tom and Baratheon, and I looked it up, and it was. I was like, oh my god. Yes. So, good stuff. Looks like everyone's watching, reading, playing a lot. It is 105 degrees in some places at certain times.
Where the hell are you going to go outside for?
Yeah, indeed.
No.
Also, I did want to mention, I decided to go see a movie tonight, and I pulled it up, and there's actually remember the shitty-ass John Wayne movie Conqueror, where he plays Genghis Khan?
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the most cursed movies ever made, when half the cast got cancer.
Filmed in Utah or Nevada?
Southern Utah.
And there's nuclear
downwind
fallout.
Yeah, and it's close to 50% of the cast and crew got cancer and died. There's a documentary that it's saying is a Utah premiere, and it says Q&A, so I think the director might be there, and that's screening tonight. So I'm gonna go see that. It's
a your theater?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. So it'll be cool to watch. It's basically a documentary on that whole film, and I'm guessing a lot of it's gonna have to do with the
cancer,
the incidents. Yes. So let's go ahead and dive on into the news, though. We do have a lot less news than normal. I'm trying to trim news down, especially on top 10 episodes, because top 10 conversations can get girthy. The first one, R.I.P. to the legendary Donald Sutherland, passed away, father of Kiefer Sutherland. He is in what Donald Sutherland comes to mind. What do you think?
Maverick.
Is he in Maverick?
Isn't he?
I don't remember.
Isn't he one of the gamblers?
Oh, no, that's not Donald Sutherland. I know who you're talking about now. That's a different guy.
Am I mixing up, guys?
Yeah, Lydia says Hunger Games. You know what's weird for me?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not even like a massive role for me, but I always remember him as the conspiracy guy in JFK. The one that is it Kevin Costner? That he meets him in like a park and he kind of gives him the lowdown on like the CIA side of things. It's like Mr. X. He just rings to me in that. I do know he's the original Hawkeye Pierce, although I've always been a television MASH fan.
It's
so
the MASH the movie, yeah.
Yeah, he's Hawkeye in the movie though. So
Hunger Games would be for me.
Hunger Games. Mike says the professor from Animal House. Yeah, he's just a legend. He's been in a shitload of stuff, and that's why he's one of those actors that I feel it's interesting to actually ask people what they know him from, because he is so varied. I mean, there's some people where it's just like, and this is not to shit on anyone, but there's some people that are either so iconic or they don't work as much. Yeah. And like iconic, like Anthony Hopkins. Who the fuck is not saying Hannibal Lecter?
Like people who haven't seen
But even people that haven't, it's one of the most iconic people. And he's just one of those guys that's so varied that it's always interesting to see what people think. But as we always do, when someone passes.
Good night, sweet prince.
I failed you as a friend and a father, by the way.
Why is that?
My daughter doesn't know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is.
How? How is that even a thing?
We were riding in the car the other day, and I was like, "I'll be back," and she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Arnold, Terminator," and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Arnold Schwarzenegger," and she goes, "Who's that?" I'm just like, "Oh."
I mean, he has largely disappeared out of the public. It's nowhere near like he was in the 80s and 90s. So I will give you that as some grace.
Okay,
there.
I'm not going to be crucified.
No, because I mean, what's the last like big fucking? Because even like the movies he's done in the last decade or so, I feel like they're all like a little bit smaller. I think he's done some stuff for some streaming services. It's not like kind of like Jim Carrey. Like Jim Carrey was different in the 90s than he is today. So definitely I'll give you some. Mike says Peter is terrible though. # Peter is terrible.
Oh come, I'm not that bad.
I mean,
she should know from that because I do that all the goddamn
time. What
about
you gotta watch Batman and Robin with her?
Ugh, do I have to? Do I?
Chill. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Chill out. Oh, Jingle All the Way. That's what I need. Mike, that's what we're doing. She hasn't seen Jingle All the Way.
The greatest Christmas movie of all time, in my opinion.
In your opinion?
Oh, it is. I love it, dude. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite. Next
Boo-boo,
up,
man.
Jumping over into geeky news or DC geeky news, Batman the Cape Crusader, or Batman Cape Crusader, not the. Which
wait, she's seen Jingle All the Way? Okay, I need to
really.
I'm gonna have a conversation with my daughter when I get home.
Have the Arnold conversation with your daughter.
The Arnold conversation. Get to the chopper. Do it now.
All right, so a lot of stuff. A lot of announcements just got made about Batman Cape Crusader, which again I hate that it doesn't have a "the" in there because it feels like the Cape Crusader is like feels balanced to me, whereas Cape Crusader Batman
the Cape Crusader.
No, Batman Cape Crusader.
Batman Cape Crusader.
It just doesn't sound right. First of all, cast. So this is an animated thing. I believe you realize that this is the guy that made the animated series. Has been working on
I meant
this.
to look that up.
It is
Bruce Timm.
Yes, that's the name. Yes.
Yeah, Bruce Timm.
So this is the guy that did the animated series.
Let's be fair. He's one of the main guys from Batman the Animated Series in the 90s.
Yes.
So Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, the Batman for
Yeah.
a lot of us millennials.
Inventor
and
of
Gen
Harley
Xers.
Quinn.
Inventor of Harley Quinn was this show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember reading an article about this 2 years ago where he talked about wanting to do another animated
Yeah.
Batman.
And Amazon said,
Yeah, sign us up.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So cast, first of all.
Oh boy. Oh.
Batman, you're going to like this, I think.
No, I'm not, because
Hamish Linklater,
Who?
the priest from Midnight Mass.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he's playing Batman. Christina Ricci is playing Catwoman.
Oh, I like that.
Jamie Chung, which he is playing as Harley Quinn. She's previously done the voice for Black Canary, Death in DC, as well as she played Valerie Vale in Gotham. So she's done live action as well. So she's a prolific voice actor. I looked at her IMDb. I was like, my fucking God, man. She's been doing voice work for ages.
One of those ones where it's like she did 17 things in 2023.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Dietrich Bader as Two-Face. He's done a bunch of Batman stuff. I think he actually voiced Batman in something not too long ago. Dietrich Bader. I don't remember which one. I didn't write it down, but he's doing Two-Face. And the reason I mentioned that one is because that'll become more evident here.
Shit, that's the guy from the Drew Carey show.
Or he's been in some stuff too. I don't remember. I've never seen the Drew Carey
I didn't know.
show,
I honestly, he's one of those guys that I never knew his fucking name.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
So first of all, Batman. Talking to some quotes on some things here. Batman.
Oh shit, he was Batman and Harley Quinn.
That's what it was. Yes. As I'll say, I knew it was something that I knew you had talked about seeing. I just completely spaced that it was.
God, that show
Harley
is
Quinn.
so fucking funny. I need to go back and rewatch that. I should watch that.
So talking about Batman, Tim, the creator, said that Linklater's take is one, quote, no one is quite done for animation yet. He went on to say there were certain things that I had in my mind back in the early 90s for the original Batman the Animated Series that I didn't get to do.
Right.
And he says, I wanted to do this emotionally messed up version of Batman who's extremely aloof and almost inhuman. Bruce Wayne is a persona that Batman himself has cultivated to throw people off his scent.
Yes.
So that's kind of the vibe of what they're going.
Yeah, it's the classic Batman story back to 1989 Michael Keaton, which inspired the animated series heavily, is what the documentary you sent me about the animated show, where they interviewed Bruce Timm and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill and Tara Reid popped into my head, and that's not who it is, who voices Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And everything. I'm spacing on her name. She's an amazing actress, and I'm mad at myself.
So here's the one that absolutely tickles my fancy. Dietrich Bader, why I just said the reason I called out his casting as Two-Face.
Yeah.
Because about Two-Face, this is what the article said. Bruce Timm, most famous for co-creating the 1992 Batman the Animated Series, spoke of how Cape Crusader will portray Harvey as a corrupt district attorney who is an adversary for Batman before becoming the supervillain. And quote, and then when he gets his face disfigured for the first time in his life, he actually feels empathy for other people, Tim explained. In this version, Two-Face's scarred side is going to represent his good side. And the human side will be the bad side because he will have always been a corrupt district attorney. That's fucking cool, dude.
He's going to be a hero as Two-Face?
The Two-Face side is good, and the Harvey Dent
But
side
are they
is
saying
bad.
that he's actually going to be a hero?
No, but that he'll be the. It's saying the scarred side will be the more good side. It'll empathize with people.
That, but if he's scarred, instead of the fear, no, we need to do just. Teach them fear and they'll do just. Instead of that, we're going to have...
It should reverse.
So we should have an ally for Batman as Two-Face. That's so unique.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty awesome. So yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I know
so-
some people are going to be like, no, he's a bad guy.
So that comes out August 1st. And I don't know if he'll be a good guy or if the Harvey Dent side will still kind of hold the stick a little bit more and he'll still be villainous. But it is very interesting. We'll have to see how it pans out. But this comes out August 1st on Amazon Prime. So looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Next up, the reason for my shirt, we have our first true images of Superman. For the Superman movie coming in 2025.
Oh, look at those trunks,
They,
Dad.
they were filming on the street, so there's a number of screen grabs or people snapping pictures. Not only do we have the full Superman suit in the light of day, not just some weird dark picture.
Yeah.
But yes, the trunks are beautiful. The
We
yellow
also
belt.
got a Clark Kent picture as well.
We got the yellow icon on the cape, which is something I didn't dare hope for. And yes, on the bottom left-hand side, that is Lois Lane. In the purple, which is a very iconic costume for her wearing purple. Some people have joked about that because the way that picture is shot, it almost looks like she's looking in a certain area that I don't think that she truly is, but there are people that are interpreting.
Hey there, Soups. How you doing? Oh, hey, Clark. I didn't see you there. I was talking to Superman down there.
Yeah, and then you pointed out the top left. We do have our first Clark Kent sighting as well.
Interesting.
So-
The hairstyle is this is going to be really interesting because Superman in the three pictures here looks like he has a little bit more sleeked hair.
Yes.
Where it's like got product in it and everything like that. But in the first the picture of Clark Kent, he's
like
almost got a
broccoli top.
Like a broccoli. That's a great way of describing it. Broccoli top, like
Yeah.
curls. And
There's been
everything
some
like
comic versions that have done that, where like there's a
that.
legitimate,
An actual different hairstyle,
a completely different hairstyle,
not just
and
not
there's-
just one hair over his forehead.
There is also like the version that they may be basing this off of. He also slouches a lot,
Yeah.
which I know that Christopher Reeve did a little bit, but like it's way more pronounced, where he almost loses like 5 inches of his
inches,
height
yeah.
because he's like slouching versus standing up straight as Superman. So I am fucking gaga over these. I had my hopes. My initial thing was just like, just give me trunks and I'm happy. But this is like maybe the best Superman suit since Christopher Reeve. I'm not the most fond of the logo. I don't like the skinny tops and bottoms of the S's, where it's kind of harder to see. I like what I've got on my shirt.
Kind of just looks like
where it's fat.
the do not enter, like the red line.
Yeah,
Like the red line from Ghostbusters. Kind
yeah,
of
a
thing.
bit. Kind of. There's the cartoon on Max where it's Superman and Friends or My Pal Superman, whatever. There's a cartoon that we've got now. That logo is even more. It's so almost skinny. It almost doesn't look like an S at all. Like I don't like it. It's probably my least favorite logo. It's kind of funny though because I like fat, whereas you hate the fat bat.
I hate fat
I
bat.
love the fat S. Like, but dude, that is a minor critique. I love this suit. I love so far what I'm seeing by David Cornsweet. I cannot wait to see this movie. So
Mike asks you in the chat, is that an actual belt?
Um,
It looks like it's a functional belt, like it has belt loops.
yeah, looks like it. Yeah.
My wife says
but-
fat bats sucks.
And skinny S sucks. Give
Yeah,
me.
we're on the same page, Tad. Skinny S sucks and fat bat sucks. There we go. We can finally unite on something regarding Batman and Superman. Because I'm with you. That is not a good logo. That S. It's
I mean,
like,
it at least still kind of looks like an S. Like I said, if you look up the Superman, My Pal Superman, or whatever the fuck it's called, the logo on that one, like there's been times where I've looked at it for like 5 minutes going, I don't see an S there. And then there's times where finally my mind will get it and I'll be like, okay, I can kind of see where the S is there. But it's like, if I have to like hold my eyes and squint to see the fucking S, like, no, sorry. It needs to be more clear than that. There was,
Superman logos throughout.
yeah, I don't remember the name of the show. But there's also was one back in the 90s when he did like a black and white suit and the S was like super fucking weird and it didn't look like an S. Not a fan of that. It needs to look like an S. This one is S enough that I'm okay with it. I just wish the tops and bottoms are a little bit fatter. That's just a minor critique. Overall, I am very happy. Next up, we have you remember the Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy documentary? I think it was on Peacock.
Yes, sir. I watched it.
They're adapting that into a series, a dramatic series.
Oh, no.
And Michael Chernus, which he was the Tinkerer in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He was the chubbier guy at the I almost called him Falcon. Vulture. He's the one that, like, doesn't he say something about looking at his phone? He's like, "Why are you looking at my fucking phone?
Yeah,
It was
he's a
ringing."
he's a little handy guy.
Yeah, him though. That's Gacy. I looked at his IMDb. It actually showed him credited in the documentary. Did they do reenactments in that? I don't remember reenactments at all. But apparently he did the reenactments, and he is now getting the role as John Wayne Gacy.
My wife says she will not be watching that.
That sounds pretty...
Absolutely she will be.
Yeah, Pogo the Clown.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Just a happy little clown.
Yeah, just nothing wrong with... Now, what about the clown paintings he painted in prison? That's like biting tinfoil, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Also, don't ask me to go into his crawl space.
Yeah, indeed. Not without a nose plug, at least.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
Next up, Jordan Peele's. So we're now getting to this time where they're starting to announce 2026 movies. They've pegged the dates for like, okay, Warner Brothers. I get this date. And everyone's whatever. They're starting to now start to release what is coming out when. Jordan Peele's next film is coming out in 2026, namely October 23rd, 2026.
Halloween.
Late October. No word on what the film is, but it does sound like it will be a horror / thriller.
I hope it's a romantic comedy starring Ryan Reynolds, just to fuck you over.
I mean, yeah,
because you're like hopeful.
I'll take a romantic comedy starring Ryan Reynolds. I love those.
No, a real one, not a horror film.
He's not going to lower himself to that nonsense again. That was for times when he was slumming. Next up, also 2026, Flanagan's Exorcist has got its release date. It'll be coming out in 2026 as well, but this will be March 13th, so earlier in the year.
Oh. I love that they're not just lumping all the horror films in September and October anymore.
And it may happen that the 13th of March...
Is it a Friday?
Might very well be a Friday.
Yeah!
So, Friday the 13th in March 2026.
You know what? You love to see it.
You really do.
You love it. You love to see it. Well done. Well done, Flanagan.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait to see Captain Howdy once again on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we've got some Marvel news. This is an interesting one. Apparently, Blade, it's been retooled a number of times. They've lost their director. Apparently, it was originally being written to be set in the 1920s.
Oh, interesting. The Roaring 20s, huh?
Yeah, which would be very interesting. But now that is out the window. It is now going to be set in the present day.
Oh.
So that's unfortunate. Next up, Sean Levy has said that he would love to do Deadpool and Spidey.
Oh, yeah.
And to me, I would say...
Just hook it to my veins!
Thank you. You beat me to it.
Because I've been saying that for years. There is no better pairing in comic book history, except for people that were created to be with each other. But when you're crossing people that don't really belong together, there's no better than
Don't cross the
Deadpool.
streams.
Nobody better than Deadpool and Spider-Man.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Wolverine, fine, I'll take it.
Wolverine's funny,
but like Spider-Man
and him belong together.
Yes, they really are.
We belong.
And Sean said, the thing about Deadpool is I think he makes everything more interesting because of his audacity. But boy, I'd sure love to see Deadpool and Spidey. He says, that's the movie I'd love to make. I feel like Tom Holland would run circles around everyone else. So he wants a Tom Holland Spider-Man too.
Oh, that's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I say please give that to me, universe. Although I just know somehow Sony will fuck it up and say, no, we don't want our Spider-Man mixing with Deadpool. It just sounds
Deadpool is too adult.
Just sounds like something that Sony would say or do. So yes. Next up, the Galactus actor has hyped the fuck out of the Fantastic Four. Ralph Ineson, which of course everyone knows his iconic gravelly voice. We all just saw him in the first Omen. But he was also in The Witch. He's just got one of those like super great gravelly voices. He says, quote, I'm just excited to be part of this absolutely insane huge world. It's Galactus. I can't say much, but it's Galactus. There's a lot to be excited about. He says it's great, and I'm not someone who knows all the lore of Marvel, but my son, he's an expert. He's 25, so he's been schooling me for the last couple of months, always this or that, or no, this person's not connected to this, and he's been teaching me all that. And I just wanted to pause in the midst of his quotes here and say his son would have been 9 when Iron Man came out if he's 25. So.
Good Lord, Dad. Oh. Will you stop making me feel old?
Oh, and then the last quote here is the great quote here. He says, and yeah, I mean, I loved it when I got the part. And I read the script and I was like, that's cool as fuck. And now the more I've understood about the universe, the more the way it all fits together, I'm like, yeah, this is cool as fuck. So
excellent.
Yes. I don't know if there's many movies. I mean, I don't count movies this year now. Like I feel like once you're in this year, like those don't count for me as like as anticipated. When I'm talking like long-term anticipated, I'm talking like 26, 25, like those type movies. In the Marvel realm, this is probably the top of the pile for me.
Excellent. That's in 26, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Next up, we've got yes, there we go. Make sure I have the right slide. Feige confirms that the Fantastic Four is in a different universe. First thing,
thought so.
First
Thought
thing,
so.
yeah, because the poster had that weird city. Remember, we're like, that's not our city.
What is that?
That's not any city we know. But first of all, today I learned that Marvel has an official podcast that Feige was on, and that's where this comes from.
Excuse me, what?
Apparently, they have an official podcast, and Kevin Feige was on said podcast.
What's the fucking name of it, Tad?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that up.
God damn,
I assume
mother-
if you look up official Marvel podcast, you're going to get it. I haven't yet to do that. I've been busy. But he says
Official Marvel podcast. God damn.
Feige says yes, very much so. It's a period. He says there's a
Jesus
lot.
Christ, it's literally called the Official Marvel Podcast.
Well,
That's literally the fucking name.
that is very
Oh my
that is very
God.
apropos. And he says it is a period. He says there was a lot of smart people who noticed that the cityscape didn't look exactly like the New York that we know or that existed in the 60s in our world. So those are smart observations, I'll say. He says I think part of that was he was confirming it is a period piece set in the 60s, but it is a different universe. So he says I'm extremely excited by it because I think the Fantastic Four mainstays are legendary pillars of the Marvel universe that we've never gotten to play with or explore in any significant way outside of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and a few fun teases before in a way that we're doing in that film. I'm extremely excited for that. He says we start shooting at the end of July, the day after Comic-Con. Is the first day of filming for Fantastic Four.
Wow.
And that is starting, so it'll start in July, and it will be, it is marked to come out in 20, or wait, is it 26 or 20? I think it's 25, but it's July, so we're literally like a little over a year away from it coming
That's
out.
a short time for a Marvel movie. Like,
It is.
you know who should be excited about this movie?
Me? Yeah, that's true. Also a note, it is not necessarily part of this, but I did see it and I wanted to mention it. Marvel has announced they will indeed be at Hall H at Comic-Con because if everyone remembers last year they skipped and there was a lot of speculation if Marvel was going to just stop coming to Comic-Con because they were big
Disney.
enough to do their own thing. But no, they haven't confirmed they will be at Comic-Con this year.
Is Hall H something special?
That's the big one. That's,
Okay, thank you.
That's the big.
I've never been to San Diego Comic-Con. I've never looked into the lore.
That's the main event. If you're the big ones go there. If you're just some small piddling comic book writer, not to
DC.
shit on those guys, you're not going to go announce your new comic book, and you're not getting Hall H. That's going to seat 1,000 people and be big and whatever. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Getting toward the end of the news here. We've got next up, Mel Gibson confirms he is directing Lethal Weapon 5.
Oh fuck, we're making another one?
Yes, indeed.
Oh shit.
So Mel says, I'm going to be directing the 5th film in the Lethal Weapon series. So he said that. Richard Donner, the late Richard Donner, I always know as the director of the Christopher Reeve Superman movie. He says, Richard Donner, who did the first 4, sadly passed away, and he was a good friend, and he kind of tasked me with carrying the flag on with that one. So it'll be an honor for me to do that. He said, and then he goes on and says, he had a fair way into writing the screenplay, and we've used what was there. We kept poking at it and working at it, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's good. I had a lot of fun doing it. So it sounds like, for your happiness, sir, more Lethal Weapon.
I love all 4 of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Mel Gibson hasn't spent the last 20-something years directing movies, so he knows.
It's not like he's a rookie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just pulling someone out of nowhere. And then the last bit of news, allegedly, this isn't a rumor, it's apparently news. I just have a hard time trusting it. Apparently, Spaceballs 2 is confirmed by Mel Brooks.
What?
Yeah, Josh Gad, famous for the Book of Mormon musical, and he's gone on to actually act in movies now, but that was where he got his start. I don't know what else he's been in.
He's in Frozen.
Oh.
He is one of the most famous characters in Disney in the last 10 years, dude.
No.
He is one of the most.
All I know about Frozen is
Jesus Christ, Frozen came out 11 years ago?
all I know is that Frozen is Sub-Zero's daughter, I think.
Good Lord.
But yeah, Josh Gad is going to write, produce, and star. The reason I'm kind of not trusting this, because I really feel like Mel Brooks, we have 2 Mels in a row here. Mel Brooks.
Whose fault is that?
Mel Brooks was teasing this back in the early 2000s when the Star Wars prequels were coming out. He talked about they were going to do a new one. It was kind of like going to riff on the prequels a bit. That never came, so there's just part of me that's like, I'll believe it when like cameras are rolling, and I'll believe it way more when I see a trailer, because it's just, I feel like we've been talking about this for 25 years, and I haven't seen a movie. So
Tad's got some doubt.
Yeah,
Tad's
it's just
got some doubt.
Yeah, press X for doubt. That's me.
X for doubt.
So
X for doubt.
Indeed. So that's all I got for the news. There isn't a whole hell of a lot else. I mean, there's maybe some smaller things, but those are the big things I really wanted to cover to get us over to the main topic. Olaf, is that what Mike said there?
That's the character in Frozen that Josh Gad plays.
Oh, okay. And then Mike also said The Search for More Money. That should be the subtitle for Spaceballs. That'd be great.
I did see something about this. I just didn't realize it was Spaceballs too, but it said Mel Brooks about to produce a new movie. So maybe that's this.
Yeah, and ultimately Josh Gad being tabbed to write, produce, and star is more than we ever got in the early 2000s, so maybe that's a sign that it'll actually happen. I just, after hearing that back and being all excited back in the 2000s, it's just hard now in 2024.
You're a huge fan of Spaceballs, right?
I mean, yeah, it's wonderful. Nothing is...
What a ship full of assholes.
And Pizza the Hut is one of the greatest characters.
He got locked in his limo and ate himself to death.
Pizza the Hutt's one of the best characters ever. Like, I love him because he's like, one, I love Jabba the Hutt, but two, he's just like grotesque.
Oh,
it's
so unsettling to look at.
Even if you love pizza, you're like, that is not right.
I'd still eat it. I love pizza. I have such fucking low standards when it comes to pizza.
You are a pizza whore?
I am a pizza whore. I am absolutely. If someone could pay me to eat pizza, I would gladly do it. Absolutely.
Oh, so yeah, that will do it for the news. I think there may have been more. I will also say we are a day short from what we'd normally have. I will make up for that day in the next episode.
Yeah, we didn't mention that on the other show or this one at all, really, that we're recording a day earlier. Why or anything like that?
I thought we did.
Last week we did, but not today.
Oh, that's true. I guess.
I mean, not last week, but 2 weeks
I guess,
ago.
yeah. Today's episodes, neither of them we necessarily mentioned that. Yeah, I guess it was pretty self-evident though. We're here on
we're here
on a Friday, so.
Oh, we don't have that as a button.
They're here.
They're here.
Yeah. So we were talking top 10 movie trilogies. I thought about giving you some qualifiers last time, but I decided against it. And I'm kind of glad because some of them, I don't know if they would have worked out.
I don't think any of mine could be excluded for any reason. I think all 10 of mine are solid trilogies.
So how many did you end up coming up with grand total?
23. I'm keeping count from now on when we do a top 10 because you always have asked me that question. I've never had an answer. I kept them all. I have them right here. And I can be like, I had that one on my shotgun list. That's what we're going to refer to it as. Yes. Going forward, because Tad taught me the best way to make a top 10 is you do a shotgun list. You open up a document and you just go, that's a good trilogy, that's a good trilogy, that's a good trilogy, that's a good trilogy, that's a good trilogy. You just made the list, and every one of those goes on the list. Then you do the hard thing.
Then you whittle it down.
So
now my new strategy now is I get my shotgun list, and then I move up to like I basically try to eliminate some quickly, so it's not even getting to the top 10, but it's like I almost have like a middle tier.
Yes, that's a good trilogy, but it's honestly not going to make
exactly where it's like it becomes real, where it's like, does this even merit an honorable mention when we're talking about the rest of this heavyweight like conversations?
Right.
And then I'll leave all those
like the Jaws trilogy. Like it's a good trilogy, but like honestly doesn't belong on my list.
No, that's not a thing at all. But then what I do is I usually get it down to around 15, hopefully to 13-ish. But 15 if I can't. And then from there, I decide final cuts to get it down to 10, and then I sort. That's how I do it nowadays. But it's still generally the same principle.
Yeah.
But I try to do it in baby steps.
But it starts with the shotgun list,
Yes,
and that's the big thing is that the shotgun list starts, and then you always ask me how many I had. So this time I had 23. So.
All right. I think I had similar. I think I was 20. I don't remember what it was now. 20-something. It was a lot, though.
Got to move my microphone so I can see the screen.
So we did get an email from John from Buffalo. Sent his list in. So I will have that alongside ours. There's no slide for his, of course, but we'll mention as we go through. But we will, of course, go through top 10, as we always do, starting at 10 because we are not Philistines.
And we're still doing it the way we've been doing it. We love this new format. It is going to be the permanent format now. We decided this last time. If my top 10 is Tad's number 2, They're both going up at the same time, and we are going to talk about the same trilogy at the same time, so the other person doesn't have to circle back and try to remember what the other person said.
Yeah, I think it helps
Goes so
conversation
much
a
better.
lot more.
So much better.
Before we dive into it, should we talk honorable mentions? Because that's usually
I have 3.
That's usually what I do is when I parse it down to like that list of like, okay, these are the ones that legitimately have a chance. And then the ones that don't make that top 10 that are still there, those are my honorable mentions. So that's how I do it. So like, yes, I may have come up with 20 something for this list, but ultimately mine ended up being 15.
I have 13 honorable mentions.
That
So I cut 10 hard once. Like, yep, these 10 are off the board. And
go ahead and hit your top 10. Or I'm not your honorable mentions.
I'm just go through my top 10 all the way through. Like, let's just read them off. Let's have an episode. Just read the 10 and we'll be done.
We're doing Instagram Reels now. We're not doing.
I got a movie to go. I got a documentary to go see. Read them off.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
One of yours is cheating.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Absolutely, it's not. It is not cheating. It is not cheating, and you can't prove that it is.
It is.
One of my honorable mentions is the Captain America trilogy.
Okay.
Which consists of Captain America the First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War.
That was the original MCU trilogy that was kind of the standard bearer. That was the ruler you measured them all against. I feel like, a lot of people had some problems with some of the Iron Man and Thor sequel stuff. I feel like Captain America is the one where people are like, most of these are pretty good. Now, did it get surpassed later? Maybe. But that ultimately was early on. That was the one.
Early measuring stick.
Measuring stick for trilogies, for sure.
Absolutely.
And comic trilogies. Comic books have not done good trilogies over the years.
No.
So, like, MCU was one of the first times where it was like, oh my God, like, they actually did a good trilogy?
I mean, if you go ask any Batman fan, hey, which Batman trilogy do you like? They'd be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Maybe the Nolan?
Yeah.
Like that's it?
Yeah, nobody's going to say Val Kilmer added to the two Michael Keatons.
Give Matt Reeves about 10 years. He'll give me a trilogy worthy of this list.
I did read that James Gunn did confirm that they will be filming early next year for the Batman 2.
The Batman 2?
So, it's coming along.
Just hook it to my veins!
Excellent.
That's the button I meant to push, but it worked out.
Okay, so Captain America.
Another one, and this one I put on my honorable mention because it's not fair. I put Kingsman on here because I just watched The Kingsman literally last weekend. The Kingsman last weekend. So it's so fresh in my mind. I'm like, God, that was a good movie. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold out. I'm going to let it breathe before I put this on any kind of a top 10 list, especially for the trilogy and everything like that.
The other thing
the first two movies, phenomenal.
The other thing I will say is they have promised a third Kingsman movie, even though the King's Man was kind of a prequel. So hopefully in the next 5 or so years, there will actually be a Kingsman trilogy where the King's Man doesn't fit in. That's more of just a prequel, but we'll see.
Exactly. And then my third honorable mention, the one
The
that Tad alluded to, is cheating for some reason. I don't know why he's saying this. It's the Deadpool trilogy.
It's a total cheat.
There is no cheating there.
It is.
I'll tell you right now, Deadpool and Wolverine is already better than some movies that I've seen. Just the trailers and stuff that I've seen from it is already better than some movies that I've seen.
There's a small part of me that's like, I hope it just sucks. So at the
end, don't be like
as we come out of the theater, it's just like,
you know what? Boo! Shame on you. You know what? Shame on you. Shame and boo at the same time. How dare you?
A small part of me.
You are pushing all of my buttons today. First your comment about cereal, and now this shit about Deadpool and Wolverine. Shame on you, Tad.
Oh man, I love this.
Oh, I hope you stub your toe and step on a Lego later.
Luckily there's no Legos in the house. That's
not that you know of. I have extras in my pocket.
See, and then Lydia says you haven't even seen the third one yet. See? Exactly.
I've seen enough. Let me just put it that way. I've seen enough to know that I'm going to like this movie. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I mean, fucking come on. Mike, you watch your mouth. Don't you dare say that.
Canceled due to a corporate murder.
You know what? I'm actually kind of offended right now. How dare I thought my wife would be on my side, and she's coming after me.
It's not even out yet.
I don't care. That's low. I thought I knew I could count on her.
That's low, you son of a bitch.
That's low, you son of a bitch.
All right, so my honorable mentions, I do think my last one will be the one that may surprise you.
Okay.
First off, Die Hard.
Okay.
Made my list.
Yep. I'm not going to say
my initial list. I'm not saying I'm definitely not trying to prod you into like revealing anything yours. It was on my list, but It really, dude. This one just came down to like the choices.
know what?
The choices I had were so good. There were some ones that really hurt to cut, and this was definitely one.
I'll say it. I'll say it. Die Hard didn't make my top 10 or even my honorable mentions because, my God, I can't remember the second movie.
Oh yeah.
I can't. I love the third. I love the first. I cannot remember the second Die Hard to save my life.
Yeah.
I could not tell you. I know it's at an airport. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know about that movie. My dad was obsessed with that one. He liked that one better than 1. So it kind of like pissed me off when I found out about Die Hard 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Like, they're vastly superior movies. I mean, you got Samuel L. Jackson. My name is Hey Zeus. Like Zeus. Like, God of Apollo. Don't fuck with me. I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. I fucking love that movie. But I don't remember the second one at all, and I have no desire really to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
So that's why it did not make my list. It's one of my shotgun casualties.
And it's definitely fine.
That's what we're going to call them, shotgun casualties.
Yeah. Has some connotations, but okay. Yeah. Next up, honorable mentions for me, Toy Story.
That's a good one.
That because I was trying to think and Toy Story, that is damn near a perfect trilogy. Honestly, no, it is a perfect trilogy.
It is.
It really is. The next one, and it's actually funny you mentioned The Kingsman because this is very similar. To me, it was the recency bias. I wasn't going to allow this to make the list when it came to the cutting. I'm like, this is going to get cut. If we did this list in 5 years from now, it may very well make the list. But right now, I feel like it's just too soon. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
For me, I'm like, it's just too fresh.
3 just came out, last year?
Yeah, it's still so new. I don't even know if I've rewatched 3 yet.
I just recently rewatched it.
Yeah, it did hurt, but sometimes I have to justify my cuts.
Yeah.
When we did the top 10 King Kids, and I was like, cool, I could cut Jack because I'm reading The Talisman right now, and I'm like, I haven't finished the book, so I don't know how I loved him by that point.
Oh, thank God. I don't have to worry about him or Jake.
Exactly. I was like, I could just cut him because I haven't finished his book yet. Great, cool, get out of here. Similar here, but I do actually want to have some time to digest this one. Similarly, with the modern Halloween trilogy, is up there for me. I did like it a lot, but I do need some time to sit with it a bit more as well. But that one was on my list, shotgun list as well. And then the last one, the one
that's supposed to surprise me.
This one,
I think I'm ready for my surprise face
because it is. Yeah, it is one that I think you might be surprised with.
Come on.
Last honorable mention, Scream.
What the fuck?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Who are you? What have you done with my best friend?
Yeah, I knew.
Scream? I cannot wait to hear your top 10. Let's go. I want to hear.
Right.
I want to hear what you put above Ghostface and Billy Loomis and Nev Campbell, the Goddess.
Yeah, and Randy.
Don't forget Randy.
I not mentioning Randy. I love it in the last scene, toward the tail end, the last section of the first movie, and when he gets shot, he has those suede shoes on, but they're a really obnoxious bright color. Yeah. I remember being a kid and going, I want shoes like that.
All right. Without the blood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he had blood on his shoes. Yeah. But, all right, so now we're diving on in.
It's safe to say that there was blood on his shoes. With how much was spilt in that house?
Yeah, I mean, well, not on the top part at least.
Oh, that's true.
He may have some on his soles.
Who
cares about that? Yeah. So let's dive on in. Number 10, starting with you. I always like having you go first when it's my hosting.
Okay.
Feels like a guest thing, like you're the guest for the episode I'm producing. So guests go first. So
literally just talked about it in the news section where it's getting a 5th movie, but Lethal Weapon 1 through 3.
Oh, I forgot. I gotta get this other screen
up.
Oh,
okay. Sorry.
No, that's my bad. I was asleep at the switch. There we go.
Lethal Weapon 1 through 3. I grew up on these action movies. The third one specifically, it's funny. You put that's the poster for the original one.
Dude, I mentioned this to you before the episode.
Yeah.
Dude, finding posters for fucking trilogies is goddamn impossible.
Yeah.
Even trilogies that you would think would have one.
Lord of the Rings.
How long I spent looking for Star Wars original trilogy and prequel trilogy. Spoiler alert, those might be on the list.
What?
Dude, there's no good, how is it even not even fan art where it's just give me a poster that encompasses a trilogy, and it just doesn't exist for most of these.
That's fine.
It was tough. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, Leo gets. Hell yeah. I grew up on the Lethal Weapon, specifically Lethal Weapon 3. So when I was
Joe Pesci.
That's the one with Joe Pesci.
I think I've only seen the first one, and I watched that since we've been friends. I think I watched that in like the last
The
decade.
second one has one of the greatest lines and deaths in action movie history. Diplomatic immunity. The guy is South African, but they're white South African, so they're racist as hell.
Yeah.
And you got Murtaugh in here.
Yeah.
And so it's just all bad. And so they get away with shit because they have diplomatic immunity. They're what's that called? Like ambassadors and shit like that.
Yeah, diplomatic immunity is what it's called.
But that's what they are. It's like ambassadors to the U.S.
Yeah.
from South Africa, and they're doing all kinds of shady shit. So they have to, and that's where you get the "I'm too old for this shit" from day one. That's a great line. It's so classic. Riggs and Murtaugh. I love this trailer.
Danny Glover's
so
a
much fun.
fucking treasure, too.
He's so
And I feel
good.
I feel like we don't talk about him enough as a society. He's just great. I mean, Predator 2 as well. Like, he's
Saw?
He's wonderful. Saw, great.
The four lethal, I like the fourth Lethal Weapon movie. It's still just as good as the other three, but we're doing trilogies. So.
Yeah, and that is the thing. I think we
yeah.
mentioned this last episode, but trilogy can be something that ends up being a larger series, but we're only looking at the trilogy because ultimately, if we had done this episode, call it 20 years ago, there's trilogies we could have put on if we said you can't do it if they make a fourth movie. There would have been things on our list that we would have lost in the last 20 years because fourth movies got made, and it's like
Toy Story.
To me, it seems dumb to still not look at because there's so few that are ever going to stay just trilogies.
Yeah.
So I made that rule that we are totally fine,
Yeah.
even though we are defining the trilogy.
Yeah,
So.
all of a sudden you can't have a Terminator trilogy on your top 10 trilogy list
Because they made more.
Because they made more. No,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So-
it's our rules. We make our rules.
Yes,
so
it's
we
our
do.
rules. We make them up.
All right, so number 10 for you.
And I want to mention it actually fits along with what you said too, because John also sent his list in for his number 10. He had Saw 1 through 3.
Oh,
So
okay.
speaking of Danny Glover,
Danny Glover.
unfortunately, Danny Glover's not in my trilogy. So
a shame.
we lost our bingo or no 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Would have been 3 Danny Glovers in a row, but
Jackpot. The slot machine.
slot machine or tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, all those kind of things. Connect 4. None of that.
Mike said tic-tac-toe in the chat right when you said that.
Mine is the Alien trilogy.
Okay.
Aliens, Alien 3. A lot of people shit on Alien 3. I fucking love Alien 3.
You do.
I have for a long time. Even the amazing, brilliant director David Fincher, which obviously went on to do much greater things in a lot of people's minds. Even he has talked a lot of shit on Alien 3, but I fucking love it. Also, nowadays, modern day, to go back and watch it retrospectively, one of the closest people to Ripley is Charles Dance, which everyone knows as Tywin Lannister nowadays. But this trilogy is just incredible. I love Aliens. That was probably one of my biggest childhood movies, but as an adult getting older and going back and be able to appreciate how fucking brilliant 1 is. One of the better horror movies of all time. And then 3 to just kind of almost be this bleak, there is no God type movie where it's just and that's what everyone hates about it. It's like, oh my God, they killed Newt and Bishop and Hicks and what the fuck are they doing here? And it's
cat.
that's the fucking point, man. And it's on a prison planet. It goes back to the basics of there's one fucking alien, but you're in an area where we don't have weapons. It's a prison planet. I love it. I love these 3 movies. They're incredible. They never made a 4th movie, so this does count as a trilogy. So
Yes, they did.
Mike says, I say game over, man, all the time.
I showed my wife Aliens just so she would understand when I say that line.
Dude,
Game over, man. Game over.
Dude, I've been thinking about it a lot recently. Bill Paxton.
Dude.
What a fucking treasure he
Right?
was, man. I don't know why. Maybe it was because reading the Wyatt Earp book. I almost called it the Doc Holliday book. But I was thinking about some of these movies, and it's Predator 2 again with Bill Paxton, Terminator. He's just on all these movies, and it was actually funny because for a second I started to forget. I'm like, man, I wish he would have been in Tombstone. And then I'm like.
Wait,
I
he was.
I was like, wait a minute, no, he was, wasn't he? And I had to look it up because I was like, for some reason, my brain just short circuited and I couldn't place him. And then I was like, well, yeah, he's fucking Morgan. So Bill Paxton's
he's one of
fucking
the
wonderful.
brothers,
Him.
Dude, is there a better brother trio in the history of films than Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, and Bill Paxton? Give me another brother trio, and I'll take you down. If we go 4. We got the Ninja Turtles, and then Turtles. But trios, what if you put Doc Holliday as the 4th brother? There you go. Those 4 versus the Ninja Turtles. Go, Ted. Tell me who's better.
That sounds like Geekery Abides.
That sounds like a Geekery Abides.
I don't think the short range weapons of the Turtles would do well against 6-shooters.
Oh, I wasn't meaning like fight, just who's better. Like,
Oh, I thought you meant fight. I was like,
no, God,
I was like,
Dad.
you're gonna slaughter those turtles, man.
He went to a dark place there. Come back to me, Dad. All right, number 9.
So yeah, let me go on over here to I gotta prep it on your screen. Go up here, change your poster, which is gonna change about the same time. So your number 9 is
The Hannibal Lecter trilogy. In this trilogy, I go Red Dragon, which is technically a prequel, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal.
Hannibal. Yeah,
In chronological order.
Yeah.
That's not how they were released,
No.
but
they were released in chaos order.
they were released in
the
chaos
second one,
order.
then the third one, then the first one.
And I royally pissed off my wife with this one about a couple months ago, because I said, "Oh, hey, it's Julianne Moore, Clarice Starling." She's like, "That's not who played Clarice Starling," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And she's like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And she's like, "No, it was Jodie Foster." And I'm like, "No, it was Julianne Moore." And so she's like, we almost made a bet, and then she like caught my eye, and she's like, and then I'm like, "Yeah," and the sequel, Hannibal, Julianne Moore takes over for Jodie Foster.
For a long time as a kid, I was pissed that they didn't get Scully from the X-Files to replace Jodie Foster. But as I've gotten older, I know it's a different look, and she doesn't necessarily vibe exactly with Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
But dude, Julianne Moore is a fucking absolute goddess.
Oh, she's
Like,
amazing.
she's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's wonderful.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah,
Hannibal Lecter. I mean, it's Dr. Lecter, you know?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get the introduction of one of the better prequels, I will say, out there, Red Dragon. Dude, it goes just as hard as Silence of the Lambs in just the right way.
Yeah.
With-
and it's my favorite book of the
Oh,
trilogy.
I love
so,
that book so much.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's really hard to say I like the movie more than Silence of the Lambs because it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
So good.
But Red Dragon it's a banger.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I'm talking about the cliff notes behind the end and the beginning, but I'm not talking about the stake. The most beautiful Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite movies.
What
and
animals?
honestly,
What animals said steak made of?
cow.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm not Hannibal.
Talking about Hannibal here.
I'm
so-
not Hannibal. Stop assuming. No, but I honestly can attribute Silence of the Lambs to being one of the reasons that really awoken the fascination with kind of serial killers, and not only serial killers, but the hunt for serial killers.
Yeah,
As much as I'm fascinated with serial killers, like a lot of people are,
yeah,
I'm fascinated with how they're caught, mostly.
Yeah.
Like, how did Bundy get caught? How did Bundy get re-caught? How did Dahmer finally get caught? Gacy and all the Green River Killer, Golden State Killer, all these guys.
Yeah.
One of the fascinating things for me is each one is just like, all right, what was it that got them caught?
yeah,
And Silence of the Lambs is one of the first films I've ever seen where it's, all right, let's break it down. It's not just some hotshot detective who gets lucky.
yeah.
No, they did the forensic work. She did the forensic work. She did the leg work.
Yeah, and
You
she
see her-
was chasing down a tiny lead that nobody
tiny
thought
lead.
was anything, and turns out to
And
be.
it turns out to be it.
Which is that one of the greatest edits in
Yeah.
film history?
Oh, it's so good.
Because it's the doorbell ringing,
Yeah.
and you see Jack Crawford out there ringing the. So they
Yep.
totally disguise it to make you think that it's going to be, Jack and his fucking SWAT team. But
Yeah.
nope, it's an empty house.
Nope, just an Clarice. Oh, it's so good.
So good, indeed.
All right.
In the chat, Mike said I tried Chianti because of Silence of the Lambs. I can't say I haven't similarly
Yep.
tried Chianti because of Silence of the
And
Lambs.
Chris has joined us, and he's talking to my wife about The Good Place.
Yeah,
such
hi, Chris. It's a good
show.
place. It's my feel good show. Whenever I need something to lift me, I reach for it. Absolutely genius. It's such a surprise at how good it is. Yeah, I was like, it's funny this is getting brought up because, dude, it was like a day and a half ago for some weird reason, just random, and maybe it was Acolyte, but it was just I was thinking about random jokes from the show, and it was just like weird. I don't know. It doesn't
I should
happen.
go watch that again.
Yeah, it's like
kind of thing.
yeah, I don't know. It is great though. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's move on over to my number nine. Or actually, first I'm gonna hit John's. John has Indiana Jones at number 9.
Okay.
So Saw 1 through 3 and Indy 1 through 3. And then going over to mine now, make sure I'm on the right poster before I change the picture. And mine is the Terminator trilogy, which you already referred
Not
to.
surprised.
Yeah, I mean, this is on my Mount Rushmore. Terminator 2. Kind of like I could almost say the same things for Alien. A lot of people shit on the third one. The first one I didn't appreciate as a younger kid, but as I got older, I realized this is a fucking horror masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then 2 is just this amazing action movie. The first one, of course, has Bill Paxton.
Yep.
Talking about good old Bill. Yeah. This trilogy though. Especially the second movie, but this trilogy in general is incredible. We've talked at length about Terminator 3 and why I think it's a worthy sequel. It may not be as good as 1 or 2, but it still is a worthy addition to the ethos of the Terminator thing, even though I've come to the conclusion I just don't know if anything should exist past that.
Yeah.
Everything else that's come out, I'm just like,
Meh.
what are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
let's just leave it down to Terminator. But yeah, I mean, Arnold...
Chris says, very surprised that Tad's 9 and 10 are as low as they are. Cannot wait to see the rest. What the rest are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I surprised you already with the Scream being on my honorable mentions, but I am kind of wondering what other surprises are going to come.
I'm actually pretty shocked that Terminator is this low. I know this is a really big trilogy for you. It made my shotgun list.
Yeah.
But at first cut, I'm like, I like those movies, but it is not one that I find myself craving. I don't find myself going back into the Terminator universe very often.
Yeah.
Third one, good, not great for me. I think though that I need to give it a rewatch, and that might be an idea for a show for us. Is have me rewatch Terminator 3, and then let's talk about it.
Yeah. I actually just saw something more recently where they had Robert Patrick at some sort of
dude, you
convention.
sent it to me.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
And they try to get, and it's actually the head that I've got up there, the Terminator head for the box set.
Yeah.
And he goes and has him sign. He's like, "What the hell? This is the wrong fucking Terminator."
And the guy gets so nervous.
Yeah. And then he finally he just rails on this guy, and he's like, "Dude, chill. I'm acting." He's like,
"That's what I do for a living."
Yeah, and he's great. I love Robert Patrick. But yeah, Terminator 2 is certainly the MVP. I guess that's the thing we could maybe look at retrospectively. MVP for your trilogies, Lethal Weapon. Did you say what's your favorite of the 3?
Oh no, I didn't do that, but I can.
Yeah, I meant to say that up front, but I forgot.
My MVP for the Lethal Weapon trilogy is the third one. It's like I said, it's the one I grew up on. I know it very well. It's also got Renee Russo, who is awesome. I love her.
Yeah.
Thor's mom. For those of you who don't know who she is.
Yeah, I knew the name.
Thor's mom. And then Hannibal trilogy is obviously Silence of the Lambs. If you have to question that, Ted, I don't know who you are.
And for me, I mean, is there any questions here?
2 and 2.
Aliens and Terminator 2.
Let's see how it tracks. Should we have someone keep track?
Yeah, if you got something you can put a note on or something, but. Because for science we can see what I know. We don't have that from John, but let's see. Chris says he's going out on a walk now. Mike says all humans, I'd put money on OG Star Wars in the top 3, unless this is a replicant Tad.
I see what you did there.
All right, so next up we've got your number 8. Let me see here. Your number.
I realize this one might have caused some confusion because I didn't tell you which.
Oh, come on!
But I'm hoping that you knew which 3.
I'm certain I know what it is. But also this is going to be our first one where it pops one of my other ones. I had this much higher. And it is
Planet of the Apes.
Oops. Let's see. I just changed the wrong slide. I've changed.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, I see.
Oops, that's not the right button either.
There we go.
There.
Yeah, it's the Planet of the Apes trilogy. It's the new ones.
It is.
Who was the director?
Different directors. Matt Reeves did 2 and 3.
Yeah, Matt Reeves, who's doing the Batman.
I don't remember who did the first one. But yes, it's the modern. It's the Caesar trilogy, is what most people call it. The Caesar and Planet of the Apes trilogy. And this is. I will just chime in to say this is my number 5. So yeah, this is a big one. But go ahead, speak to it.
This is a modern retelling of Planet of the Apes. We get. I have never seen an original Planet of the Apes movie.
Really? You haven't seen the original?
I've seen that scene.
Yeah.
80 billion times. But, him crazy old man yells at a statue.
You maniacs! You blew it up!
Yep.
It's a great movie, though. It really, the first, I haven't delved too deeply into the rest of the old movies, but the first one is definitely an all-time classic.
Yeah.
But this trilogy, honestly, too, in my mind, has no business being as good as it was. I remember when it's like, oh, there's a new Planet of the Apes thing, and it's kind of a prequel, and it's the beginning of it all. I'm just like,
Ugh.
I mean, not that many years before, we had the thing where they did like we're going to show the Norwegian base, the kind of the,
And it was,
yeah, so and this is the era where we're doing a lot of like just cash in, money grab, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I remember going to the titling of these fucking are stupid too. Not the structure, I'm okay with that, but the ordering. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes should be the first one, and then Rise, and then War. But it is Rise, Dawn, War. What?
out of order.
It's completely out of order. When they announced the second
Out
one,
of order. I show you out of order.
yeah, when they announced the second one, I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely is out of order.
Rise makes sense if the second one would have been something else.
Yep.
But Dawn is like the beginning. Like that's the
dawn.
That's
It's the start of the day, kind of thing.
But yeah, did you look up the director of the first
no,
one?
I can't.
You don't have to. I could. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Oh, that was 2011. That was the same year as The Thing.
Oh, wow.
Rupert Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
So
and then Matt Reeves did Dawn and War.
Yeah, he did the other
Oh,
two.
okay.
I know we're not talking about it, but I will also say it's not connected. It's like 100 or something years later, but the one that just came out this year is absolutely incredible. But it is starting a new trilogy, so we got a second Apes trilogy coming, which is
nice.
great. So, but this one,
Yeah.
I mean, Andy Serkis should have got an Oscar.
Mocapping Caesar was phenomenal. Also, John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow.
Pleasant surprise to see old John show up in a movie. I hadn't seen him for a while and everything, and I adore him. I think he's great in almost everything that I've ever seen him in. And then the story was so compelling in how it started and where it went. A Harry Potter alumni is in this.
I was about to say, is the fucking piece of shit that started it all, isn't he from Harry Potter?
No. The guard at the
Yeah.
Oh,
None of it happens if he doesn't fucking torture those goddamn apes.
That's
and
true.
Shock them and spray them with hoses. Like,
yeah, he's
he started the
yeah.
revolution.
Yeah, Tom Felton is the actor's name. He's in Harry Potter. He plays a huge role.
He's got a punchable face if anyone
yeah.
has one.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He was actually kind of a good egg in The Flash, I think it was.
The show.
What was it? Not Warner Brothers. Who was the CW? CW. The CW DC stuff. And he was hateable at first, but then he ended up kind of redeeming himself.
Yeah.
And it always made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, he's just looks like a prick.
He plays one of the biggest. He's Harry Potter's arch nemesis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like student arch nemesis, not the guy who's trying to kill him.
Yeah,
arch nemesis.
not the evil Dark Lord.
Yes, not the evil Dark Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but these movies tell such a compelling story throughout.
It's basically it's the beginning of the apes, like being able to like think in a higher fashion, reason, and then talk, and then you kind of see like essentially the takeover of the planet during the course of
It's really fascinating to see the rise of a civilization.
Yeah.
Through 3 movies like this and the fall of another.
Yes.
Yes. It's interesting to see that, and such good story, such good action.
Yeah.
Amazing, complex,
characters
and
cinematography is incredible,
and story points too, like conflicts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to fight, but we will if we have to. All that kind of stuff. Also, we got to just mention it. Your boy's in one of them, so.
Yeah, indeed. There's a wonderful cast across all 3 movies for sure. I'm not the biggest fan of the star of the first one. What's his name? Franco, yeah.
He's one of the Francos.
I just never have been, and I know he got like kind of the Me Too stuff, so fuck him, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I've never liked him even before that. Not that I hate him, he just always rubs me the wrong way. Where it's just like
James Franco. It's one of the Francos.
It's James Franco. He just never feels like he fully fits into any movie.
Yeah.
Like in this one, it was just hard to picture him as a scientist. I'm like, have you ever passed a science class in your life, James Franco?
Here's the question.
He's a cutting edge, like what is like not cryogenics, like working with like DNA and like basically like, and he creates the virus that ends up like dooming humanity and then giving consciousness to the apes. So yeah, it's like I don't know.
It's interesting because it's like I did think about that at one point. I'm like, we should have had Tobey Maguire instead of him.
That would have been
like
Andrew Garfield
or Andrew Garfield.
Just there's a few other actors you could have plugged in. I just think it would have played better.
I just thought it was funny that if you swap them like in Spider-Man, it
Yeah.
would have been a worse movie. But if you swap them here, it's a better movie.
Yeah, and again, it's not that I've ever necessarily like full on hate him. He doesn't ever feel like he never feels right. He always feels like one step from the perfect casting. Like the Patrick Stewart as Xavier, there's like that perfect casting. He always just feels like one step off of that. Like
he's the one that like
it's just like,
and then you find out later that Bryan Cranston was up for that role, and you're like, we could have had Bryan Cranston instead of him. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
So it is my number 5, so it's a lot higher for me. This again, this may be one of the best trilogies of like the last, 2011, right? So it's not even like it's that modern anymore.
Oh, it's so good.
But like it's one of the best trilogies, and it had no business being as good.
Oh,
as
no,
it was.
absolutely
So, what about your MVP?
My MVP for this one. I haven't thought.
Your wife said fucking love Tom Felton, but I thought she said fuck Tom Felton. Earlier, I caught the glance of it, and I was like, oh, God.
Damn.
And I just reread it. I'm like, oh, no, she's saying she loves it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's also a very, very nice human being.
I'm
He's
sure.
a fantastic
it's like
human.
the kid that played Joffrey.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Great guy.
Great actor.
guy.
Comes off like one of the most vile pieces
yeah.
of shit, but doesn't mean he's not like a wonderful human
Well,
being.
especially with Harry Potter, because so many kids are getting introduced to it now by the millennials who read it as kids.
Yeah.
And he's just so nice to all the little kids. But my MVP, I wasn't ready for this, so I gotta give it some thought. I gotta
Also,
go.
Mike said these apes need to make cameos in the Spaceballs sequel.
Yes, I gotta go with Rise. As
Rise.
Franco is and everything
But
like
John
that.
Lithgow.
I will say that the scene with the Golden Gate Bridge is one of the most striking
Yeah.
Golden Gate scenes
Yeah.
of all time, because Golden Gate Bridge is used in a lot. Like,
Yeah. For me, it'll always be Magneto pulling it up, and
there's that one. There's
X-Men
Godzilla
3.
fucking absolutely destroying it in the first Godzilla movie, the new Godzilla movie.
key to surviving catastrophic world-ending things. Don't live near
Don't
anything
be on the
iconic.
Golden Gate Bridge.
No, just don't live by anything iconic.
Yes.
You never see like just some random building in fucking St. Louis being knocked over by
Nope.
shit in movies. No,
But
it's
you
always
see the
gonna-
Vegas Strip getting nuked.
Yeah,
or
it's always going to be that, or it's going to be the fucking Empire State Building or the Golden Gate Bridge. It's landmarks. Don't live
don't
near
live
land-
near landmarks.
It's dangerous.
Check. Live in Utah. Got it.
Yeah, got it. There's no.
We're good.
The only landmarks here are like natural.
Down
ones.
that way.
Down,
They're a ways away from us.
down that way. So for me, I'm going to go with Dawn because Gary Oldman.
Yeah, it's not surprising that Tad picks his boy.
But they're all great. All 3 movies are fucking
Yeah.
stellar. I adore these
Yeah,
movies.
it's going to be like a 10, a 9, and a 9.5 for these 3 movies, and not in any particular order. That's just.
I will say this one probably would have been a little bit lower on my list, but not too long ago, one of the reaction video people that I watched through this trilogy. So I haven't watched the entire movies, but I kind of got some of the high points from those videos, and so it's fresh-ish in my mind where I'm like, dude, these movies fucking banged. These are great movies.
The looks of it too are
oh yeah,
phenomenal.
like, and to this day, the fact that like that's what shocked me watching the reaction video, dude, is he was watching the first one and it's like, this is 2011. I'm like, oh my God,
like that was 13 years
yeah,
ago.
watching that and it's like, that should look dated, but it fucking doesn't.
No, it
looks
phenomenal.
incredible. So yeah, good stuff. Apes trilogy, wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we've got
Your number 8.
Oh yeah, my number 8. Go like that, and then I've already teased it a bit because I accidentally clicked my thing over and not yours. But it is Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave this one off, man, because like I don't know, over the years, especially the third one, I've shit on over the years, but like I rewatched it probably in the last 5 years or so, and the third one was not as bad as I remember it as a kid.
Yeah.
I think as a kid I wasn't as into it, but watching it now, like. Yeah, it's a worthy sequel, but the first 2 are all timers. Like the third one probably would have held it off my list back in the day, but rewatching it in the last handful of years, I remember just being like, you know what, the third one's not that bad, and this is just such an iconic trilogy. It's so wonderful. Just Mike says Back to the Future, one of the most quotable trilogies ever. Yes, quotable as
Great
well.
Scott.
Let's see. But yeah, Michael J. Fox is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Just and the way these stories are built, especially the first 2, the way they're all tied together. And the third one is too, but I feel like the first 2 are just like, it's like 2 hands that are just like, they're so entwined that it's like
I picture the Family Guy meme where it's all the hands going into the circle, and the third one comes in. It's like, no, not you, no.
and it has some ties, certainly. It's just the first two though feel like one movie, really. Like, and maybe that's because the to be continued ending where it's like it's not you, it's your kids. You know, where we're going, we don't need roads. But yeah, it's incredibly quotable. And I just think any of these movies are ones you can just throw on any time, and I feel like you could like throw them on for your daughter and she would enjoy them.
Absolutely.
I feel like they're timeless. Like, yes, the dates are weird now where it's like if he traveled back in time the same distance he did in the first movie from today, it's like 2015 or something, like, or whatever the fuck it is, or no, it's 2005, whatever.
It's only 20 years.
Yeah, 80s to or wait, no,
it's 30 years, so it'd be back to the 90s.
Yeah,
it's 85 to 90 to 55.
Yeah,
isn't it?
So either way, it's just crazy because
going back to 1994 is
going back to when Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption, and that's a banger of a fucking year. 94.
I think that if you actually sat down and looked at it, 1994 might be the best year for movies of all time.
I'm not even joking. Like, well, of all time's hard, but 90s easy. And if I was going to go like, hey, we're having a cage match of every decade, you get to pick one year. 94 is the pick.
94 is the Undertaker showing up and just being tombstoning every other.
The only competition is 99, though. 99 has got a lot of fucking movies.
99's got The Matrix,
Episode 1, The Blair Witch Project, The Fight Club. Like, there's a lot of fucking good movies in 99 too.
I think we're gonna have to have a discussion about about this.
Decades.
I'm gonna go put this on the list. I'm gonna seriously put down which 90s. What year in the 90s produced the best movies? And I think we should rank them.
Yeah.
There we go.
We could do that. Also, I guess I haven't mentioned this with my other two, but you know me, I'm a film score nerd, and what is more iconic than the Back to the Future theme? It's just one of the more iconic themes. Outside of John Williams, it's probably one of my, if I was to do like a top 10 non-John Williams, it's probably Back to the Future is going to be on there. It's an incredible score. All the acting all the way around, all the Oedipus stuff with him potentially making out with his mom and his mom trying to hook up with him is very uncomfortable.
Oh, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
Oh, it's a classic. What do you mean?
It's brand new.
It's brand new, yeah. It's great. Of course, there's all the crazy Simpsons elements of it where seemingly it told the future with a couple things. But great stuff.
Not cool, Like, they were off a little bit on the Cubs winning the World Series, but we got there.
Not far off, though. But yeah, Back to the Future is my number 8. Also, I wanted to mention John's number 8 was Die Hard 1 through 3, but he says in parentheses, even though 2 is not that good. I disagree. I know you said it was the weak, and it may be the weakest.
Again,
but
it's not that it's the weakest for me. It is the weakest for me simply because I haven't seen it.
No, there's that. But I mean, and everyone has their own opinion for sure. But I've just rewatched. I've watched these all for the first time probably in the last couple of years. 2 certainly doesn't stand up to 1 and 3, but I would not go so far as to say it's not that good. I do think it's decent. It's just hard to compete with those other 2. But yeah, so Back to the Future for me.
What's your MVP?
MVP, it's gonna be the first one.
Okay,
that one's hard because the second one's tempting, but the first one is just, I mean, I don't know. It's iconic in every way. So
gotcha.
Okay, so next up we are going to your number 7.
I might get yelled at for this one.
All right, let's go ahead and move your posters over and go ahead and reveal it. It is one that I also have.
Of course. I'm wondering how high it is on yours. That's the thing. Number 3. Okay.
It is my number 3.
The Godfather trilogy. I love the first and second one. I know that you're a strong advocate for the third one.
Yes, I am.
I will say that it's not a matter of me thinking that it's a bad movie.
Mike, too low, Peter.
It's a matter of I have not seen 3 probably for close to 2 decades.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it once. I hated the ending, and I don't know if I should go back because it might make it worse.
If you do, though, there is a new cut. It's a tiny. It's not radically different, but it's different enough that a lot of people are liking it. Coppola went and re-edited it. It's called they call it Coda, which is what he originally wanted to call it, The Death of Michael Corleone. Yes. So yeah, go ahead. I mean, go ahead. I'll let you chat it up before I talk about it for me. Cause
I one of the greatest films of all time, The Godfather 2. Robert De Niro plays young Vito. Al Pacino plays Michael, his son, and it's just like classic story, the gangsters and everything like that.
Yeah.
Such good movie, such good direction and everything. Characters are amazing.
Yeah.
The stories are amazing.
Launched the careers of
so
Al
many.
Pacino, Robert De Niro, revitalized the career of Marlon Brando, James Caan, huge. Also, I would say one of the most influential films of all time because very little-known actor didn't get a part in this and decided, fuck this, I'm never going to make it in this business, so I'm going to go make my own. And he went and wrote a little tiny movie called Rocky, which he ended up winning an Oscar for.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
spurring another movie like that is incredible just because you rejected a guy. Yeah. Anything else? I'm not going to go too hard on it, but I do want to talk about it a bit as well.
No, I want you to have a lot because it is higher on your list, so I want you to have the floor.
Yeah, for me, I mean, this to me is a perfect trilogy as well. I mean, most of these are, to be honest, because that's what I thought about when I was making this list. For me, I know some people are going to disagree with me. Most of the time, it's the third movie that people are going to shit on, like Alien, Terminator, Back to the Future, Godfather. Like, it's weird how the third movie tends to be the weakest in a lot of these. But for me, I've been a strong advocate for it. Not always, for probably the last 5 or so years where I've really delved into it, and I really feel that The Godfather 3 is incredible. It's just misunderstood. But the first two, I mean, they're just like, I think the problem when it comes down to is, in my mind, the first two are largely the book. They did have to add the older Michael stuff in the second movie, but all the young Vito stuff was in the novel. So it's like, really, they're telling one story over 2 movies, kind of like your Harry Potters and some of these others on part 1 and part 2. And the problem is Coppola never intended for the third one to be part 3 because it's not part 3. We already told that story. Now I want to do a coda and show the death of Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
And the studio's like, no, you're fucking calling it Godfather 3. And he's like, but it's not part 3. And they're like, we don't fucking care. That's what you're calling it.
Yeah.
So he was kind of forcing it, and I think that kind of makes people try to elevate it to the level of the other two, and it just is never going to be that. But they're all incredible. Al Pacino is one of my all-time favorite actors.
Yeah.
This is probably one of his greatest performances. I love Marlon Brando in this. James Caan, one of my all-time favorite roles for him, is in this. He's great in Misery and a few other things. What was the stupid Elf movie? Is it Elf?
It's literally called Elf.
Yeah, like he's fun in that, but it's just like, he's Sonny Corleone to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. I love like the I forget the word for it, but the way they shot it to make it kind of darker and more sepia tone, I think is the right phrasing for it. Iconic lines all over the place. In fact, Mike in the chat said Tad put a beast head in Peter's bed and then said, sorry, Lydia. And what I picture there is either Fluffy from Creepshow, his head in your bed.
No.
What?
You don't put something that I'm scared of. You put something that I love.
Chewie?
I mean, am I the only one that's seen Godfather?
Chewie's head in your bed?
He puts the horse that he's also proud of in his bed. He doesn't put something that he's scared of.
So Chewie's head in your bed?
I will kill you. you would cease to exist.
Oi's head? Mike says.
Oh, that's low.
Oh, man. But yeah, for me, top 3, absolutely. I really do adore The Godfather, though. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. It's one I can throw on any time. I have now seen all 3 of them. Ooh, no. 2 of the 3 in theaters. They haven't put 3 back out in theaters yet. But over the course of the last decade, they've been releasing them out in theaters for whatever anniversaries, and it was pretty cool to go see them on the big screen for sure. So yeah, one of my favorites for sure. Also an easy one to find a poster for because it actually stopped at a trilogy.
It did.
So yeah, what about MVP?
Oh, 2.
2 for you?
There's not a question.
Because that's a hard one, man. For me, it's 1. And here's the thing. I do see why people think 2 is better. But for me, it's the Brando and James Caan playing Sonny.
See, it's not a question of which one's better. It's which one I enjoy more.
No, yeah, for sure. But
So-
what the reasons that I hedge 1 is because Brando, and I love Sonny. When I was younger, especially, I was more hot-headed.
Sonny's in 2.
I've chilled out quite a bit, but I used to be a hothead, so I really loved Sonny. And in the books, they do a little bit better of showing that yes, he was kind of dumb and reckless, but he was also kind of the prince of the city. All the people loved him. He treated people well.
He was still a good guy.
Yeah.
As long as you weren't trying to kill him.
Yes. So I always loved him, and then Marlon Brando, and so for me, I'd hedge it, but it's so hard because then I think of things like Frank Pentangeli
Dude,
and
how
Hyman Roth.
do you leave out Robert De Niro?
Oh no, yeah,
Like that's the thing is like Vito coming into his own, stealing the carpet. I mean,
yeah.
it's classic. You know, the carpet
Yeah.
is the
No,
is
it's-
what makes the movie.
It's tough. It is really hard. This is like a Sophie's choice for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
But the reason I've always held is that it's the Brando and James Caan, Sonny being a big part of the movie, and then Brando's iconic performance, or what, just the tiniest hair puts it above. But for me, it's easily 1A, 1B. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's there is no.
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on one.
No, I
Obviously.
know,
you know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But for everyone at home,
But
that's yeah. But two, I just enjoy two a little bit more, seeing like Vito come into his own and everything like that. And Robert De Niro, my God, what
Yeah.
a fucking performance!
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
all the stuff in Italy with that's Michael in the first one.
No, he goes to Italy to kill the guy that killed his mom.
Yeah, that's the what I was thinking. That's what I was meaning. But no, yeah,
Yeah.
that is just phenomenal and
Yeah.
everything. And seeing Vito, and then of course I know it was you, Fredo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, every time I watch 2, I'm like, is 1 really my favorite? But then I watch 1 and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, it is.
But every time I watch 2, I'm like, I think I might be wrong.
it just
So-
depends on which one you've watched more recently.
Yeah, it's like when you have 2 kids and it's like the one in front of you. It's like, this is my favorite.
Oh, stop
Then
it!
the other one comes, you're like, okay, this one's my favorite.
Stop it! That's just
Oh.
all right. You're number 7.
So John's number 7. I wanted to mention too. He has Shrek 1 through 3.
oh, okay.
So I actually tried to think of some family movies as well. That's how Toy Story ended
My
up
wife
on my.
says that's why I have one kid.
Oh, I just got a reel recently. Have you ever seen Good Son?
No.
It's Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin, and Macaulay Culkin's a fucking sociopath. And there's the scene at the end is like the mom over a cliff dangling the 2 kids.
Uh-huh.
And like anyone watching the movie is like, drop Macaulay Culkin. He's fucking evil. He's tried to kill you. He's tried to kill your other kid. And she's just like, and she finally drops him. But it's like
What's it called?
The Good Son.
Uh-oh, Tad.
What? It's not.
No. I'm about to make you laugh at my naivety. I thought that was Sophie's Choice.
No, Sophie's
I
Choice.
thought Sophie's Choice was the 2 sons, and you had to choose which son
No.
lived.
Sophie's Choice is the Nazis that are like, you've got 2 kids, well, you got to pick which one lives.
Oh my God, that's what that is?
yes.
I've never heard. I never like actually like looked it up or anything like that. It's just
Yeah.
Sophie's Choice. You got to choose which one lives. I thought it was the mom holding the 2 sons off the cliff. Oh my God.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It is that much worse.
it's so much worse. Yeah, because I
Oh.
knew that Macaulay Culkin plays like a sociopath, and Elijah Wood's the great kid.
Yeah.
Drop the fucker. That's it. Keep the one alive.
I just saw the
yes, we just went from Shrek to Sophie's Choice.
I
Love it.
I did
Jay.
see the clip of The Good Son on Instagram, and it was like
Yeah,
driving.
I did too.
It was driving me crazy how long it took. I haven't seen the movie since it came out in the 90s.
I've
And
never seen it,
And I was
so-
just like, I remember enough of it where I'm like, drop him. Why are you even questioning this?
Yeah.
This is like you have like a piece of broccoli and a piece of pizza, and you're like, oh, I've got to let go of one. Which am I letting go? Or even better, strychnine and pizza. Like you got it's just, one is trying to kill you, and you're everyone you love. Yeah, I can't speak much to Shrek 1 through 3. I know I've seen the first one. I don't know if I've seen the rest.
The thing with Shrek actually is that they actually did a really good job telling not just a story but a cohesive story, where it's not just
I know
here's
it's John's, but
here's the characters repeat a new adventure. No, they actually like develop the characters and they actually become more sophisticated. It is a really well done, especially for a kids show. It's still well done.
yeah.
Where you know,
I feel like Shrek is one of the best examples of like, you know, I think it was C.S. Lewis that said that a children's story that's only enjoyed by children is a bad children's story.
Yeah.
Like, it should be a good enough story that an adult can watch it and enjoy it. And I think
Yes.
Shrek is probably, it's because it's more modern, but it's
Yeah.
one that people can, well, not anymore, but it used to be modern, where people can point to it and go, hey, every parent that brought their kid to Shrek enjoyed the fuck out of it too, because there's jokes for the parents.
yeah,
And
there's a scene.
it's-
There's a scene in the second one that you would absolutely adore. Is that they're chasing them, and it's Shrek who's turned into a human, Donkey who's turned into a white stallion, and then Puss in Boots who's just an orange cat, and they're being chased by the cops. And you literally have like a shot from a hot air balloon as they're following them. We got a white Bronco going here, and then they get the cat and they pin him up against the wall with like a animal catcher thing, and they're like, Yep, that's catnip. And he goes, oh, that's not mine. Stop resisting. And then they go to pepper spray, and it's ground pepper. Dude, it's funny as fuck.
Maybe
they got some good jokes
maybe I should
in
check it
there.
out. I can't rewatch the first one though, dude.
Oh, overplayed.
Well, it was in high school,
Yeah.
right close to Christmas. I think I had 4 classes that day because it was a split.
Oh,
you know.
no.
3 of the 4 fucking classes played the movie, and so I saw the first hour something of the movie. I walked out in the 3rd class. I can't do this again. I was like, I'm going fucking crazy here. And yeah, so I was just like, that ruined the first of it for me. So
especially 2.
Yeah.
2 is funny as fuck.
I do want to.
And the cat who's like
Antonio
Zorro
Banderas.
is Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas. Like,
I've
you can't go wrong with
I've seen
that.
clips of him with like the watery eyes and
Yeah.
like lowly
Oh, yeah,
people.
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I will say I've always wanted to encounter a sentient gingerbread man so I could torture it because that seemed fun.
John Lithgow's in the first one. I mean, again, a Lithgow sighting.
It was actually the reaction guy I was watching for the Apes movies when John Lithgow showed up. He called him Farquaad or whatever the fuck.
Lord Farquaad.
And then there was like people in the comments like, what the fuck's he talking about and
It's
stuff.
Lord Farquaad. It's Shrek.
I was like,
God damn
I don't
it.
think I've seen that movie since the early 2000s, but even I caught that reference.
Yeah.
It was a decent reference, though.
Good.
All right, so for me, this is one that might have people a little bit.
I swear to God, if you put Star Wars here, I'm going to throw punch you. Not the gumdrop button.
All right, so this is my number 7. This might surprise some people. The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. No, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wait, you got what the fuck? You got Lord of the Rings ahead of Terminator?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm probably because all 3 kind of can really stand as like incredible movies. Where
Wow.
the 3rd movie of Terminator, I can totally see where people are like, it's the weakest. Like,
If you put Terminator 3 up against Fellowship, Two Towers, or Return of the King 1-on-1,
Yeah.
they wipe the floor with it. Okay.
yeah, exactly. Am
Okay.
I too low, Tad? I knew people would say that, but I will say
Mike, did you not notice that it
That's-
did not come up on my list?
that's what I'll say. It's not on your fucking list, and I'm like, there's no way Peter forgot. Like,
Nope.
this isn't
on
intentional.
my shotgun list, not even in my honorable mentions. Lord of the Rings, great movies. I'm sorry, I don't have 3.5 fucking hours to sit down and watch a movie every goddamn day. Like, that is
So,
unrealistic.
I've been wanting to rewatch him for a while now. I kept saying to people, like, I haven't watched him since like 2011. I think I've
Yep.
even said it on the show a few times.
Yep.
So I actually know that I mentioned it on social media at one point. So not too long ago, I went and searched through social media to find the post of like, when's the last time I threw these on?
Yeah,
I found a post in 2011.
but
In that post, I said, I think it's been about 4 years since I've watched these.
and you didn't watch them.
Yeah, I was like, I'm kind of
2007.
Yes.
We're coming up on 2 decades, Tad,
I know.
and it's number 7 on your list.
Yes, it's an incredible
Good Lord.
it's an incredible
Good
trilogy,
Lord.
sir.
Good Lord.
And we've already talked about it at length a couple episodes ago. You and I spent a lot of time in theaters watching these.
We did. We did.
I do think it's going to help these a lot too. The fact that I've held off this long without rewatches.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm going to enjoy them to an extent that maybe I almost never have because I've let them breathe for a long time.
Yeah.
And with Mike saying it's too low, the reason is because like I haven't gone. I mean, let's see. I was 2000, or I think I was like five or 6 when I saw Star Wars. So it's like I've never gone more than 6 years of my life without seeing Star Wars.
Yep.
Ever. Like,
Yep.
And do you really count ages 0 through 6 when I first saw
Nope.
it? I didn't. But it's like I've never probably gone a year without watching Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact I've gone,
Only reason I rewatched Lord of the Rings this year is because I showed my wife them.
yeah,
I wouldn't have watched them myself because, again, as great as the movies are,
the length hurts.
good Lord, 3.5 hours
Yeah.
each.
Well, and then like Regal screwed me over because they were doing the screenings of the extended edition 4K versions on screen on a weekend.
Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
No, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So Return of
it's
the
like
King
the
was on
one
Monday.
that's 4 hours long is on a fucking Monday.
Yeah.
How am I gonna go watch a 4-hour movie on a fucking work night?
Come on.
If they would have done it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I probably would have like
I would have been there.
grabbed Hayden and been like, dude, let's fucking go.
I would have been there. I would have gone with you. My wife asked me if I was going to try to go with you, and then I found out that it was a Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday,
When
Monday.
I
and
went-
I said, fuck
Yeah,
no.
I went to buy the tickets and I saw the dates. I'm like, hold up. No. This is the first movie. This should be Friday. Why is it saying Saturday? And I went and looked at the calendar. I'm like, oh my fucking God. What a fucking ball drop there for Regal dropping the ball.
Shame.
But yeah, I do love this trilogy though. I mean, I can't go far without saying the soundtrack, some of the greatest scores of all time.
Yeah. And again, not bad movies. I don't think that they're bad movies.
It shocked me. Like, and in my mind, there was a few here where I was like, I wonder if he forgot. But with this one, I'm like, there's no way he forgot this. I'm like, this isn't intentional.
Nope.
And it shocked me. I was flummoxed.
I'm also not gonna lie. There was a period in the late 2000s where I got really sick and fucking tired of Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah,
there was a time where I boycotted the fucking movies because I'm like, God, these movies are not that good. People are making them out to be like the greatest of all time, like better than The Godfather. Oh, we got to go on Internet Movie Database and rank them higher than Shawshank Redemption. Each one of them is better than Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah, and
they're good movies.
They're
good movies, but stop.
Yeah,
stop.
That irritated me too, but I'm never going to let that affect my view of the movie because I try to keep those separate as much as I can. It does hurt a bit, but no, ultimately though,
what that did hurt, what I was going to say, what that did hurt is that hurt me wanting to go back and rewatch them.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten into the habit of not watching them, and I have a family. I have things to do.
You know, Hayden and his family, they watch it every year for Thanksgiving.
Oh my! Well, I mean, that's not bad. Just put it on in the background while you eat turkey.
I think they'll like eat and then watch them and stuff.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's what you should do is just like find some kind of set of movies for Thanksgiving and just make that your tradition, where you can just ignore the holiday and go, watch a movie of some kind or watch a movie set of some kind.
John says 10 to go. Plus, John, stay on target. Yeah, we're going long. We got 15 minutes.
You said Mike. You said
yeah.
John.
Sorry,
I
read John. Yeah, Mike said that.
John, I'm like, are you having a stroke? Like,
a little bit.
Why do you talk like that?
Honestly,
I had a stroke.
flummox. The Terminator is below Lord of the Rings. Like that.
It's the overall thing. But yeah, I love this series though. Great acting, great everything shot, great soundtrack. The story's incredible. I do wish they were a shorter, but I don't see how they could have made it shorter. So I totally get.
Yeah, if you go watch the cut versions, the theatrical versions,
which I've only ever seen second and third, I guess. I've never seen the first one theatrically because I saw that on DVD for the first time and it was extended. So I've never seen
really?
I've never seen the first ones.
I didn't know they released the extendeds right away.
I didn't remember. I didn't watch them. I ignored the first one.
But you saw the second one the next year.
No, the next day. Tyson and Aaron forced me to watch the first one. It was the day before Two Towers.
I didn't think that the extended editions came out until like 2006.
Oh no, it was I think it was always that as they were coming out because that was the height of DVD popularity. July they came out on DVD for the theatricals, and then November they came out for extended.
Oh, and then December was the release.
Because I actually was working at Suncoast, and our debate teacher paid me to go buy the extended editions that had like the statues with the with my discount. So yeah, I remember all that. So yeah, it came out around November, school season. But yeah, that's my number 7.
That debate teacher was a good guy.
Yeah, he was great.
All right, let's go.
Let's see your number.
Oh, what's your favorite?
Probably Return of the King.
Okay.
Two Towers is hard to pick against, though. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my first one in theaters and stuff, but I really love Two Towers. But I think the third one is my favorite.
Okay.
Let's see. So now we're going to your number 6, and it is Scream.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, it's the only horror film trilogy that I could say is worthy of being on this list for me.
Yeah, and it was
Friday the 13th made my shotgun list, but as good as Friday the 13th 1, 2, and 3 are, Scream's better in my opinion. I think the first 3 Scream movies tell a cohesive story. There's different killers. They're so much fun.
They are.
They're just a lot of fun, which is why I was so shocked that it made my list. I honestly expected it in your top 5 because you can't do a Halloween trilogy.
I didn't think that you were actually going to have it on your list at all. So when you finally sent yours over, I was like, oh God, Peter's got it on there. I'm like, he is not going to be happy when it's not on mine.
I honestly forgot. The one I did forget about is the new Halloween.
But you're right. You can't do like a lot. There's not really a great Halloween.
No.
But the new Halloween trilogy. But yeah, it's like Scream.
It's good.
Scream is probably
better.
Scream is the MVP when it comes to horror for sure.
Because let's be honest, Nightmare Before Christmas, Nightmare on Elm Street. I've never seen 2 or 3. I've only seen.
Yeah, you
no,
see-
I did.
You saw 3.
I saw 3, but I don't think I've ever seen 2.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
so when you look at it, Saw is one that I didn't think about.
Yeah,
but
that's-
I would still take Scream over Saw.
It's a good pick by John because I didn't
Yeah.
think it Saw either. But
But I would
Gotta
take.
love that
I would
needle
take-
pit
Yeah,
in
I would
2.
take Scream. And spoiler alert, I did actually think of one horror trilogy that is better than this, and it is still on my list to come.
okay.
My MVP is Scream, the first one. Like the twist that it's the boyfriend and everything, just made it so that every boyfriend ever is never trusted again.
Yeah, it makes it funny too because now it's like they almost eliminate it out of the future movies where they almost can't do the boyfriend because
Yeah.
it's almost too obvious.
It's too obvious. Yeah.
Although they have like used that against people though because I do believe there was one in the last couple years that the boyfriend ended up being involved.
Yeah.
But it was like because everyone's like, oh, I'm never going to suspect the boyfriend because it's never going to be the boyfriend again. So
And
they're
then
like,
they got him.
They're like, we got you motherfucker. All right, so number 6.
John 6.
6. His 6 is Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
I've never seen any of those.
I've seen Unbreakable. I've never seen Split or Glass, but I do know that they're pretty beloved by people for
Yeah.
sure. So that's awesome. And then you actually, so you mentioned horror.
Yeah.
Let's just gotta make sure mine over here. And mine is Trilogy of the Dead, which is your number 2. So I was actually shocked it was this high. Yeah, because again, I did want horror to be represented. That's why on my shotgun list I got Scream, I got Halloween, the new trilogy. But like ultimately this one was on my list too because like George Romero, zombies, like this created the fucking genre of zombies. And this trilogy is perfect. I know I know I've said that on every one of these because I think it's true. I think all top 10 of these for me, these are perfect trilogies.
Yeah.
And some of my shotgun lists are perfect trilogies. Like it came down to the point where I'm like, I've got like 15 perfect trilogies.
Yeah.
But this is incredible. I mean, the original, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah. Oh, did you say your MVP for Scream?
Scream.
The first one. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe I missed you saying
Yeah.
that. So
I did.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Dawn of the Dead,
Mm-hmm.
still the greatest zombie movie ever made. So you could probably just mark
That's
that
your
down
MVP.
for me.
I already wrote it down. I already wrote it down. I already wrote it down. I knew what your MVP was going to be.
There's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, there really isn't. It's incredible.
By the way, it's my MVP as well.
I saw it in theaters a couple months ago, I think, for the 50-year anniversary.
I should have gone with you.
It was
to see
pretty
that.
incredible. And then the last one, Bub, the whole like military.
Choke on it,
Dude, it's so fucking good. Dude, I love these movies are just incredible. I'm really shocked they're as high as they are for you. That,
wanna know why?
That shocked me.
What's my favorite game right now?
That's true. It's true. Not recency bias, but bias of what you're into at the moment is zombies.
What's the game that I play with my wife all the time? When we want to shoot stuff. Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead
so
2.
zombies everywhere.
Zombies fucking everywhere. What's one of my favorite books of all time?
World War Z.
World War Z.
Yeah.
I fucking
And
love zombies.
Mike said great pick for John. Yeah, sorry neither of us can speak very well to
Yeah.
that trilogy, but I do know that it is very well loved.
Yeah,
So
I fucking love zombies. I love everything about zombies. I am a diehard
That's
zombie
true.
fan.
That's
You
true.
know how much I love zombies.
yeah, and I've grown up on zombies. I will say
I didn't grow up on them.
I will say I've gotten a little bit jaded because they became so oversaturated.
Yes, they did.
Where it's
Walking
like
Dead, especially.
every Walking Dead. There was Call of Duty games. And it was just got to the point where I'm like, it's almost like too hip to be into zombies
Yeah.
now. I'm like, I've been loving these for decades. Like, it almost felt like I don't want to like zombies as much now because it's like y'all are kind of. Not that I want to be like hipstery about it, but it's like you guys.
How you feel about zombies?
You guys are overdoing it for me.
Yes.
a bit because it was just like and it was like when I was watching a lot of this stuff that people are hyping, I'm like, this isn't even good.
This is
Like this
okay.
isn't like George Romero. When I watch Romero, I'm like,
That's
these are
good.
fucking masterpiece. But like
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I'm like, it turned into a soap opera. I'm like, I'm watching a fucking soap opera. There's full like
Every now and then there's a zombie kill.
there's legs of the whole chunks of episodes that don't have zombies. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
like this is
I'm spending 45 minutes of my time watching people argue about who slept with who.
yeah. I'm like, this is like even if you were to like fighting over the idea of like, well, how are we gonna find supplies, whatever, which I know they did at times, but it's just like there were times where I'm like, this has turned into a soap opera, and like I just and like the games, it got to a point where it's I don't know, it just got to the point where I still love zombies, I do, but it got to the point where it was just like.
Lydia, my wife, just said when they stopped fighting zombies, that's when we were done. That's when we were done
Wait,
watching.
they stopped?
Yeah, they started fighting people.
I mean, people are always going to be some of the enemy, but the
it's a threat,
zombies.
but the zombies are the bigger threat. The zombies
Yeah.
are always the main threat. Yeah. What you're saying about zombies, for the most part, is how I feel about Lord of the Rings. It got way too big, way too popular, where it was
People
just
put
like,
it over their skis with
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, where like when
It's
they
just
started
like-
saying like, "Oh, it's better than Star Wars," it's better than like
It's like, come on. It just made it so that I didn't want to watch them.
Clerks
you know?
2 nailed it.
The Clerks 2 nailed it. Yeah,
There's only
absolutely.
one return, and it's of the Jedi.
I need to watch Clerks 3. That might have made my list if I had seen
I
Clerks
haven't.
3.
Yeah, I was about to say Clerks 3. I haven't watched either, so it didn't make my
Yeah.
list as well. But yeah, awesome to see Trilogy of the Dead, which I am slightly proud of coming up with the nomenclature there.
That's pretty good.
Trilogy
I like
of
that.
the
Trilogy of the Dead. And I love the you found a poster.
Yeah, I
for that
found
one.
a
It's
cool
great.
thing for that one.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead, such a freaking great movie. I love Dawn of the Dead, which is so funny because most people would watch, if they watch a remake and then watch the original, a lot of people would not like the original. I watched the remake first. I saw it in a college class.
Yeah,
film
in
class.
the 04 version.
The 04 version was Zack Snyder directing
James
it.
Gunn writing.
James Gunn wrote that? That makes sense. That's why there were some extra funny lines in there.
It hurts me because I hate that movie.
Oh, it's
like I love James
it's,
Gunn.
It's not a great movie. It's not. But that I don't think that's James Gunn's fault.
It is because he's the one that decided they're going to run.
Is
He
he?
wrote it.
He did?
He wrote the script,
Shame.
so it's like and I know people love it. I'm in the vast minority of not
Same.
liking that movie, but it's
Dawn of the Dead,
it's-
1978 is better. There we go. I said it.
It is. MVP we already both said.
Dawn of the Dead.
All right, so my number 5 is already revealed, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to
Yep.
your number 5.
This might surprise some people.
Yeah, surprised me, and it is
Star Wars: The Prequels.
and it is my number 2.
Number 2.
So we are filling the list out. I know we said we were running out of time, but we have a lot of crossover here
Yeah,
coming at the top of this.
these last few ones are probably going to be on both of our lists.
So I am
mean,
surprised as low as it is.
Hello there.
as much as I love the prequel films, I find myself not watching episodes 1 and 2 nearly as much as I do episode 3.
Well, it is a masterpiece. So.
They're all 3 masterpieces.
Yeah, but,
they are.
But 3
But
is
3
just.
is just, dude, the opening sequence. We talked about
Lydia
this a
says
couple
it's
weeks
surprising
ago.
too.
My wife is even surprised. Yeah. But let me ask my wife, when's the last time you saw me watch one of these movies? So, also the big thing is that I'm sorry, 5 is low. That's not that low. You know,
it's just
that's
lower.
not, that's not honorable mention for fucking Scream.
You
You
okay.
fucking heathen.
It's just like in my mind, it's your list totally.
Right.
But if I saw your ones that were on here and I had to place them, Trilogy of the Dead and prequels would probably have been flipped.
Okay.
Just my guess of what you would have said.
The
So it just,
big thing with this,
and it's
is-
fine. It's
yeah.
cool to be surprised, but it did surprise me when I was going when you first sent me your list. I was
Yeah.
like, and it was great because I'd already had all my slide made for my side.
Yep.
My posters are all put in, and I got yours, and I was just like,
Wait, what?
whoa.
Yeah.
And like the Lord of the Rings ones, I'm like, I almost text you, but I'm like, no, because that is behind the scenes. We generally don't talk to each other where
Nope.
it's like, you may have forgot something, dude.
Nope. We had it.
but I'm just saying
we
we
had
could-
it on horror films. I forgot The Mist.
Yeah.
So no, I love.
That's
the-
because you
I
block
love-
out Mrs. Carmody.
I do. I mental block.
Blood Atonement.
Nope. Block. I love the prequels. I really do. I've never hated the prequels.
No.
Tad,
And as I was saying,
Tad can vouch.
we-
He's known me since before.
we could both vouch
Yep.
for each other. Like
Yep.
this whole rediscovery of the prequels in the last which I adore. I
It's
love
great.
it. But we were there in the trenches in the
Yes.
early 2000s when everyone was shitting on them. We unabashedly both.
We've talked about it. We quote it. We've been quoting it since 2001 when we became friends.
Yeah.
September of 2001, we became friends. By November, we were starting to quote Star Wars to each other.
Yeah.
And it started with episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That following the summer, episode 2 came out.
Yeah.
I just remember walking up to you and being like, I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere. And it would just make Tad giggle. It just, every time.
it's
It
great.
was great.
Yeah. And for me, it is my number 2. I love this trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I know people will shit on the second one, but I fucking adore the second one because it's kind of almost feels like a gumshoe follow the mystery, right? It almost feels like a detective movie, but it's Obi-Wan Kenobi instead of like some, here we are, see?
Did I send you the reel of the guy who's like, every time it's raining, I feel like doing
Yeah.
this? And he puts the hood up and it.
Dude, how
I
relatable is
followed the Boba Fett the Camino.
how relatable? I've done that. I have
The
legitimately
next time it rains, you put on a hoodie and you send me a fucking video.
Yeah, especially back when I wore hoodies more. I
Yeah.
have legit I have made contact with the bounty hunter Jango Fett. He is building a clone army on Camino. Yeah.
Easily the most
Great.
quotable trilogy on this list
Great
for us.
for sure.
For
yeah.
me and you.
Absolutely. And for me, I love this trilogy. I mean, do we even have to talk about MVP?
Oh, it's Revenge of the Sith.
Dude, Revenge of the Sith.
I already put mine down on my list. I'm just going through and adding yours in. So let's see.
Yeah. So for me, like Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time. So and I've been saying that for years too. Again, I adore that people are rediscovering and realizing that they love these movies, even though they've been talking shit on them for 2 decades.
Yeah.
And some people are younger and they grew up on these movies. I'm not going to take anything away from them.
No.
But some of us that have been around and loving it since the beginning, it's wonderful. So
this is the trilogy that got shit on by Lord of the Rings fans too.
yes.
And it hurt me because I'm just like we're nerds.
Yeah.
We're all nerds.
We're all on the same side.
Yeah,
here.
we're on the same side here. We can't be hating each other, but it is what it was. But yeah, Darth Maul, one of the greatest reveals of all time.
Darth Maul is pretty great.
The second lightsaber.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, so you're number 4.
I wish I was in theaters with you when you saw that.
Oh, dude,
wish.
yeah. Too bad they did spoil the whole surprise of that by the trailer. So I already knew it was coming, but it's still iconic and wonderful to see. But your number 4?
My number 4 is the Spider-Man trilogy, and this was probably shocking for a lot of people.
This is one I forgot. Didn't even make my shotgun list. I will say, since I did kind of disqualify Guardians for being too recent, this might be the
is
same.
even more recent.
But yeah, it didn't come to mind. Let me pull up my list here because I do think I forgot. Wait, where are we at? Number 4? Yeah, because John's number 5 was Rocky 1 through 3.
Oh, okay.
Which that's a good trilogy too.
That
That's
is a
actually
good-
one I forgot.
That is
too.
a good. I forgot Rocky.
Yeah,
I
that is a good one. That is a really good one. So so Spidey.
Love Spider-Man.
I mean,
I fucking love.
And it was good
Spider-Man.
top to bottom. I mean,
all 3 bangers.
Garfield never got his third movie.
Nope.
Unfortunately, Toby got his third movie.
Yep.
Unfortunately. Oh my God. But yeah, this one actually sustained 3 movies, made it wonderful top to bottom. Lydia says, honestly, doesn't surprise me. I know how much you love Spider-Man and especially Tom Holland as Spidey.
I adore young Spider-Man. High school Spider-Man is peak Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Where we see him before, and everything like that. I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man too. You see him like come of age and everything like that. They took 3 movies to tell that story here.
Yeah.
Not to mention at the same time, he's fighting Thanos. He's getting blipped and everything.
Yeah.
And then here he's trying to juggle becoming an adult, going to college, a girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. And it's such a good trilogy. And then the ending of the third one, No Way Home, I will argue one of the greatest endings in Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Setting it up for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that no one knows about.
Yeah.
Does anyone know?
It's never even happened in the comic books.
No.
Like, this is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Like there's been times where he's been pretty isolated, but this isolated?
No.
Nah, I don't know that this
so
ever happened.
alone. He doesn't have I just spaced on her name. The aunt. Aunt May.
I mean,
I was stuck with MJ. He doesn't. I was gonna say Aunt May. He doesn't have MJ. He doesn't have Ned and everything like that. It's just so sad. When they dropped the Lego Death Star, my heart broke. I built so many Legos that my kids immediately smashed by accident. That's what Mike said.
have you seen the meme where it's like the props person that had to put those together, and they're like, "All right, take 20." With the Death Star thing.
They just cry. Oh, God.
Oh.
I love these movies, and my MVP is No Way Home.
Which is the
Third one.
third one? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
And
I
then
don't remember
Lydia says that broke her heart, too.
Oh, yeah, she's a Lego fan, so. I don't remember the first one, but Far From Home is the second one. Oh, Homecoming. is the first
Homecoming,
one.
yeah.
Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
I know it doesn't count at all, but if I were picking it, I actually would go number 1 for
Yeah.
MVP. Dude, just Michael Keaton in general. But that
Michael Keaton was a great bad guy.
fucking scene when he opens the door for the prom night or whatever it is, the dance, and he
You
opens
must
it.
be Peter.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm getting chills. It's the
It's
greatest shock
so-
in MCU, right?
It's so good.
Nothing comes close. That's
Yeah.
the I Am Your Father for the MCU.
There's that one, and then I think the only one that might rival it is Guardians 2, and that's why I killed your mother.
Yeah.
That's why I put the brain tumor in that killed your mother.
For non-comic
What?
readers, yeah, that's probably a surprise. But for me, I'm like, Ego's a fucking evil motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
I mean, even
ISIS
people who didn't read the comics, my wife knew it was coming. She's like, I don't trust this motherfucker.
yeah, I mean, they did plenty in the movie to lay out that he's not trustworthy. But me and like, he's one of the like the preeminent villains in the Marvel's like cosmic realm. So I'm like,
but having Vulture be the dad of the girl,
dude. And the way that
no way you could have known that. And they kept it out of the marketing, Tad.
Everything, yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
And that moment, dude, I remember like my breath just fucking like.
Oh, it's so good.
Like,
I cannot. I
it's like I got punched. I was like, oh.
As much as I love that moment, don't get me wrong, I love that moment. That's number 2 for me. The fucking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up,
yeah.
The fucking rolls prove it. He hangs from the ceiling. That's not good enough. He's like, come on. And then the fucking Ned's grandma, can you get the cobwebs while you're up there? And he goes over and he gets the cobwebs.
Indeed. All right. So moving on to
Your number 4.
My number 4. Let me do John's number 4 is Toy Story 1 through 3.
That's a good one.
Great one. It was on my shotgun list.
It made my shotgun. Was your honorable mention?
Or honorable mention, I guess. Yeah.
My shotgun list. My shotgun casualty and your honorable mention.
Yeah. And this one, my next one is on your list, I believe, as well. And it is Indiana Jones trilogy. It is what did I say it was? My number 4 and your number 3. So pretty close, but I'm sure you're typing MVPs. Are you?
Your MVP is Raiders. My MVP is Last Crusade.
No.
What?
Mine's Last Crusade.
Yeah, that's not what you said on the Indiana Jones episode.
No, I always just say it's like that's like the Sophie's choice for me. Picking the 2 is impossible, but I usually hedge out kind of like my James Caan, Marlon Brando cheat. My cheat is it's Sean Connery.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't think we talked MVPs in the.
Do we need to talk about this again?
No, we
literally just did an episode.
We just did a full episode, but I mean,
if you want to know our thoughts on Indiana Jones, go watch.
This is a perfect trilogy.
Go listen to it.
Great, one of the greatest John Williams scores of all time as well. Wonderful, and that pretty much brings us all the way up to number 1, right, for both of us. So,
let's go. And are we shocked by what it is? Go ahead, Tad.
Do it.
Let's see what.
Show me what your number 1 is, because I know it's not Star Wars.
Let me get the slide or the pictures going there.
I know it's Jaws 1 through 3.
All right, I'm getting both of our posters over. I mean, come on.
I mean, was there any doubt that it was going to be the Star Wars?
It's the trilogy, right?
It's
like Clerks 2 said. There's only one return, and it's of the Jedi. A
little voice in my head said, "Don't put Star Wars as number 1," and you know what I said to it? Yeah.
It's just, and Lydia says no shock at all. Mike says great choice also by Indy. The talk last week was so great. Thank you. I enjoyed talking it too.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And we've talked a lot about Star Wars over the course of this show for over a year now, almost coming on 2 years. I don't remember when our launch was, but
March, I think.
Was it?
Wasn't it?
I don't remember. But yeah, we talked a lot of Star Wars, so I don't think this should be a surprise to a lot of people. But in my mind, I know that technically there were probably trilogies that existed before this. But in my mind, this is the fucking trilogy. This is like the proto-trilogy. This is kind of what I don't even know. Was trilogy as popular of a word before 1977? I need to go look at one of those Google Word things where they show you like the chart for usage of words. I'd be interested if the trilogy like spiked in like the in 1980, because I think that's about the time that when Empire came out, when people are like, no, this is going to be 3 movies, it's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
And it's just this is it. I mean, this.
Oh yeah.
We've talked a lot about this.
Mike
I don't
says
think
don't forget John's number 1.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. His number 2, because we skipped a bunch of ours because we we filled each other's lists in. His number 3 was Back to the Future, so it was on my list as well. That was awesome. His number 2 is the original trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So Star Wars, the original trilogy. His number 1 is Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Definitely respectable.
Absolutely. Great movies.
Yeah, I think it would probably be on the top of a lot of people's lists for sure. And like Peter was shocked how high it was on mine. But yeah, for Star Wars, the original trilogy, though, there's not a lot we can say that we haven't probably said it throughout the show already. But this, to me, is the trilogy. Like, if you say trilogy, first thing that comes to my head is this.
It's just the trilogy.
Yeah. And even when I threw this topic out, I'm like, okay, number 1 is...
Number 1's easy.
Even though both of us probably had the same thought where it's like, what if I didn't put it at number 1? Just to subvert expectations or whatever, but it's like, how?
My wife and I had to run an errand this morning, and I was like, oh, right, I need to text Ted. Can you grab my phone and text him, because I don't text and drive. I said, can you text him, this message? And I go, oh, shoot, you're going to see my list. And she's like, I saw the first one and I stopped looking. I'm like, oh, no, you got Star Wars spoiled for you? She's like, I know, right? Shocker.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great, and it is the trilogy for me. But yeah, that's our lists and John's list. Thank you, Mike, for reminding me. Having to skip through ours because of the way we piece our shit together. Almost made me forget the tail end of his. But yeah, wonderful list. Great, a lot of great trilogies, and it's funny because I remember you questioning where you're like, "Is there 10?" Like your first initial reaction was like, "Can we actually
10 trilogies?"
Can
I
we
found
fill?
23 and I forgot a couple. Yeah. You know what? I want to know if this one was on your shotgun list because I forgot about it. John Wick.
No, I actually forgot that one too. Cornetto trilogy, the Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead.
I hate the third one.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I hate World's End.
I still think you need to revisit it.
I hate World's End.
I think you need to revisit it.
Well, that's a great segue, Tad, because next time on Geekery Abides, we are going to be talking about Hot Fuzz. And
yeah, we have emails too. But if you want to email either of us, tell us we're wrong about our list. I mean, it's all subjective, so there's no being wrong. But if you want to yell at us for something about our lists,
I'm going to have to get signed back into my email.
Peter at geekerybinds.com, which maybe you maybe have been ignored on that one, or Tad
it's not
TADD
ignored.
at
It's an
geekerybinds.com. Let me see here, and then we got.
How can this be for the greater good?
We are absolutely going to be talking about Hot Fuzz, one of our favorite comedies of all time. Tad and I love this. It's a spoof on the action films, which, if you didn't notice, Lethal Weapon made my list. Die Hard made my shotgun list. Die Hard made Tad's shotgun list. I don't know about Lethal Weapon, though. I don't think you've seen 2 and 3.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
The ones I know for sure I dropped off. I feel like I deleted some, but the ones I still have on my list that didn't make my honorable mentions, Man with No Name trilogy. Or the Dollars trilogy, some people call it. Also, the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about the Mighty Ducks.
When I was trying to think to myself, what family things can I put in here to offset some of it? You know what? One thing I will say about my list, too, looking at it, a lot of genre.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, sci-fi, horror, like, kind of geeky shit, right? Like Star Wars, Godfather's drama, Indiana Jones is genre, Planet of the Apes, Trilogy of the Dead, Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Terminator. Literally, Godfather's the only thing I got. Before we started the episode, you're like, I bet you're going to have a bunch of dramas on yours. Well, I've got one.
Yep.
But the rest
guess
are
what?
like,
I got one, too.
The rest are sci-fi, fantasy, horror, like genre shit. So I do love that.
I did have one on here that a trilogy on here that I still kind of regret not putting higher. It's Austin Powers.
Yeah, I've never dug the third one as much as a lot of people do. The first two, though, if we're talking duologies, there'd be a whole
Austin Powers is up there.
Oh,
man.
dude, yeah, I need to rewatch those. It's been probably 15 years since I watched.
All right,
them,
so to recap, Tad's MVPs are Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Godfather 1, Last Crusade, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Dead, Return of the King, Back to the Future 1, Terminators 2, and Aliens. My MVPs are... Wait, that's my shotgun list. Let me go back up. A New Hope, Dawn of the Dead, Last Crusade, No Way Home, Revenge of the Sith, Scream, Godfather 2, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Silence of the Lambs, and Lethal Weapon 3. Those are the MVPs from this episode.
Awesome.
From Trilogy.
Yeah, so next time we're talking...
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
And I am going to go into the trilogy a little bit. So just so you're aware, I would give at least Hot Fuzz a rewatch. I mean, but we are going to talk about we are going to talk about the what's it called, the Cornetto trilogy? Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
And I will promise to try to watch at World's End.
You should, because it is very different, but it's kind of like the Pacific, where it's like, you know, if you watch it the first time expecting Band of Brothers the second, you're going to be disappointed. And I think if you're expecting Hot Fuzz, like, it's just all three are very different movies.
Yeah.
I even remember like going back after years of not watching the first one, Shaun of the Dead, and just being like, this just Hot Fuzz like ruined me a bit. Where it's like, this is just not as good as Hot Fuzz.
There's a reason it's not on my list.
Yeah, and like, but they're good. I do.
Shaun of the Dead's a fucking great.
I do believe all three are good.
Again,
it's just
zombies.
It's just a matter of like tempering expectations. But
I like zombies. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. I like zombies. I like zombies.
And you got to get the Zombie 2 zombie head on there.
Oh no, I like zombies, and it's gonna be the fucking like graveyard and the hand coming shooting out is what it's gonna be. Oh, that'll be the I or the L.
Got to get into graphic design, sir. All right, so yeah, this was a fun conversation though. It was wonderful. We went a tiny bit long, but we started a tiny bit late because
we did start a little bit late.
Well, I think it was a whole cascading because the first our Dark Tower show, we couldn't get the damn thing to stream at
it wouldn't
first,
start.
and so we ended up a tiny bit late, and then that just cascaded. So we're like 5 minutes over what we would normally be.
Silly
So,
YouTube.
but yeah, that'll be it for this episode. We'll be back for Hot Fuzz in a fortnight and a day, because we are recording on a Friday, which is unusual. We'll be back to Saturday next time, which is the 13th.
I
Was it
promise to get into
July 13th?
I promise to get into the email and see what I missed.
Yeah, it is, because it is not like Google or whatever, because it's one of our created emails. So you have to figure
Yeah.
out how to like add it to your phone. I know it's a little bit more.
You can do it the same way you do at a Gmail when you can enter an email address. That's what I did before.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
that's how I removed it. Is it was in my Gmail app.
Yeah.
And so I just went in and I went to go remove it because I'm like, well, I'm done with the podcast. I'm moving on. I'll be there occasionally, but I'm not going to use this email ever again. And so I removed it, and now I'm back. I'm like, I went to my phone. I'm like, oh, it's still there, but I didn't look at the email.
I'm glad
address.
I asked you. Like, hey, have you checked your email recently?
Dude, I feel so bad.
Oh man! All right, so that is it for this episode. We'll be back in a fortnight and a week, and I will sign off as I always do by saying, "Love what you love, let your geek flag fly high, and never let anyone tell you any bullshit about guilty pleasures."
Yep.
What about you, sir? You got any sign off to end the episode?
I'm sorry.
For all, it's gonna be like, what is it? The Eminem song, was it Stan? Where he's like the dude sending him all the letters and
Oh,
gets
yeah.
more disgruntled as time goes.
Oh, I hope not. Dad, you're making me feel bad. Don't do it.
Excellent. All right, see y'all later.
Bye.